it, but I thought it was incredible. It was 4 times greater than any FIFA ever held, and it's probably about 5 times, actually, they're telling me today. So we're very proud of our country. We're very proud of the job that was done by everybody. We congratulate Johnny Infantino and all of his staff for the incredible job they did, but this was one of the greatest events of any kind ever held. So we're really happy that it did so well. And all over the world, people have come and they've loved our country. You know, shown off our country in a different light. And it was a great thing. It was a great event, and I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Okay? No, I wasn't sad. I think they both played well. I would say Spain played better, but they both played well. I mean, they got to the finals, and it was very exciting, actually. It looked like Spain dominated, but it was a very close match. So it was great. It was a great event, yes. Well, we feel very badly, but you know, those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran could not have a nuclear weapon. Iran has been very, very badly damaged. They've lost everything almost militarily. They've got very little left. They've got some missiles. They've got some drones. They've got some manufacturing ability, not much. We control the straits. We don't control anything. So we'll see what happens. So we hit them very hard again tonight. And we did that in honor of the probably three, as opposed to 2 great patriots. Well, we're going to see. We'll be speaking to them. Again, yeah. How did that go? Well, it went good, but I told them, I mean, we got to stop these fires from coming in and poisoning our air. Our air has been poisoned. Have a good relationship with Mark Carney, but you know, we got to stop the fires up there. If we can help them, we'll help them. But maybe they can pay us some damages or something, or give us some tariffs. But it was terrible. I mean, you had businesses closing. In particular, Michigan. You look at Detroit, Michigan, they had to close everything. They had to close car plants and a lot of other things. So I've never remembered this happening. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we started to take this. I've never remembered this happening. I did. I spoke to Spain, and I congratulated them on having a great team. I really spoke to a lot of people. No, I have no tension. I have no tension with anybody. Well, it has a lot, and you know, it has a lot of capability. But as I understand it, in about a month or so, they're going to send it to have it be maxed out. So they're going to be sending it, and they'll have it be maxed out. It'll take about a month. I did. Well, I was just saying, I gave an answer here. I spoke to him about it. I said, you got to get it stopped. It's really forest management. They should know how to do that. If you go back 4 or 5 years, I don't remember ever having a problem like this. So we do have that problem. Well, you keep hitting me. This is a far bigger job that we're doing. We were doing a little job and stopping them from having a certain capability. Now we're just ending it. So it's really not the same thing. What we're doing now is we're ending any chance that they can have a nuclear missile. If you look at it, after a week and a half, not 4 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks, we stopped them from probably, but I don't want to have the word probably. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
That was President Trump as he arrived yesterday back from the World Cup match. So I just wanted to include that in case you guys missed it. And then I wanted to get into the show, which I can't get into the show yet because there's some news that has pretty much preempted it, which we will get to in a second. Just wanted to let you know, I don't see it on any of my feeds or on schedules, but I do know from President Trump's schedule, he's supposed to be meeting in the Oval Office with the world champion Little League team. So there's a chance we may cut to the Oval Office should it come on one of these feeds. In the interim, let's get to the breaking news.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
Well, it seems once again the liberals, the libtards, have done it yet one more time. These people who are tolerant, who just want to protest peacefully, kind of peacefully, mostly peacefully, have done it yet again. And as I put up in the thumbnail, it's only going to get worse from here, which I'll get into. But I want to break to you real quick. They had a press conference literally about 10 minutes ago up in New York City.
Good afternoon. I'm James Barnacle, the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI New York Field Office, here joined by the Commissioner of the world's finest police department, New York City Police Department. Thank you, Commissioner Tisch, for being here. And Jamie McDonald, the Deputy United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Today, just before 9 a.m., a man by the name of Andrew Arabaca, A-R-R-A-B-A-C-A, arrived at 26 Federal Plaza, just behind us on Worth Street, at the employee entrance to the building, where he ignited gasoline. He poured gasoline onto the ground and ignited it with a lighter and an incendiary device. That device was a firework, a large firework in a canister. That proceeded to catch on fire, pretty big flame as you've seen on the internet. He then pulled out an airsoft rifle and fired 5 to 7 pellets, if you will, in the direction of 26 Federal Plaza. At that time, Federal Protective Services, 2 officers, a gray suit, a contractor with Allied that is employed to guard this building, and those 3 people and the 2 officers standing behind me in the blue shirts are the officers that intervened and took Mr. Arabaca into custody. Well, he had him on the ground. An FBI agent jumped in and they put handcuffs on him and took him in the building. He is currently in custody and he has been interviewed. Arabaca is a former United States Army soldier. He was enlisted for approximately 4 years, serving from 2001 to 2005. He was a repairman.
I want to jump in right there. This is getting kind of eerie. I think you guys have got to agree at this point that this is kind of weird that so many of these people who have done attacks and done different things over the last couple of years have actually been military people. You know, I just spent the week with my grandson here, and we watched the entire Bourne trilogy. And before that, I've talked to you guys about Telethon and all these different, you know, the Manchurian Candidate. But damn, doesn't this stuff seem a little weird that so many of these people are, quote, former military? I don't know what to say about that, but I do know what to say about it.
A mechanic on Patriot missile systems. He is 43 years old. There were injuries in this. 3 people were injured, minor injuries, 1 civilian and 2 government employees. Right now, our evidence response team is out working with NYPD and our New York Joint Terrorism Task Force to collect evidence, to conduct interviews. We have located a vehicle of Mr. Arabaca's. We have seized that vehicle. We are procuring or obtaining a search warrant. Mr. Arabaca came armed with bad intentions. I will say that 26 Federal Plaza has long been a target of extremists, of terrorists, and today the extremism was brought here. The building was attacked. Mr. Arabaca was looking to injure people and harm people. He had 2 axes, a hammer, a machete, and 3 knives, fixed blade knives. He had, as I said earlier, 6 incendiary devices or fireworks, and he had some other destructive items. Going forward today, like I said, we'll do more interviews, we'll collect more evidence, and we will, and I'll leave to Mr. McDonald to talk about charges. We take this very seriously. On his cart, he had a cart. He had anti-ICE literature on it. When he was being arrested, he yelled derogatory terms to ICE, used bad words, obviously, He is an anti-American, anti-government extremist. We know that from what he said. We know that from what he has said post-arrest. And we know that from what his actions that he tried to take today. So I will turn it over to Police Commissioner Tisch.
Thank you, Jim. Good afternoon. I am here to provide some additional details about this morning's incident outside of 26 Federal Plaza. This remains an active investigation, and the information that we have is still being gathered and is subject to change. At approximately 8:30 this morning, a call came in to New York City's 911 call center that there was an active shooter outside of 26 Federal Plaza in Lower Manhattan. 2 additional calls in the subsequent minutes reported an explosion and a male setting off fireworks at the location. Units from NYPD's 5th Precinct responded within 2 minutes of the first 911 call, and by the time they were on scene, the suspect had already been taken into custody by federal officers. The suspect has been identified, as you just heard, as Andrew Arabaka, 43 years old, of Poughkeepsie. He is believed to be a U.S. Army veteran. His last known address was up in Harlem. His vehicle, a black Toyota RAV4, was located parked in the vicinity of West 124th Street and Broadway, and that vehicle is subject to search pending a search warrant. The entire incident unfolded in view of an NYPD camera positioned on the southwest corner of Worth Street and Broadway. Video and witness statements describe the suspect's actions as follows. At approximately 8:30 a.m., Mr. Arabaka arrived at Worth Street and Lafayette Street in front of 26 Federal Plaza. Once he arrives, he ignites a bundle of what appears to be fireworks, which begin to smoke. He then goes back into his cart and takes out an airsoft rifle and proceeds to brandish it, and he appears to fire several pellets from the airsoft rifle. Next, he pulls out an orange bucket from his cart and runs towards the bushes along the building line. He dumps the contents of the bucket, an incendiary liquid, between 2 sets of bushes along the perimeter of this property and ignites a fire. Federal agents and officers then run up to the subject, subdue him, and take him into federal custody. On the scene was recovered, among other things, 2 airsoft rifles and the container with the flammable liquid. Also affixed to the suspect's cart was a sign reading "Ice off our streets." During the incident, the suspect was wearing a military-style helmet. This incident occurred along federal property, and the NYPD is supporting the federal government in their investigations. Charges are yet to be filed. Our work with the Joint Terrorism Task Force and the Southern District of New York is critical to keeping our city safe, and I commend the federal agents and contractors and officers who responded to the threat this morning. Now I'm going to turn it over to Deputy United States Attorney Jamie McDonald.
Before Mr. McDonald speaks here, you're seeing a bunch of the New York City dignitaries, the FBI, you're seeing the police commissioner. Somebody's absent. I can't really put my finger on it, but this publicity whore of a mayor, I guess I am putting my finger on it, somehow he's not there. Somehow this publicity hound, this publicity whore of a mayor who can't run up to a camera fast enough doesn't show up for an incident in New York City, a terrorist incident in New York City. Can't touch it. I can't be close to this. I'll let you guys handle this press conference. I'm going to go back over here and talk about, arresting Bibi Netanyahu. As you were watching, I hope you guys were noticing the same thing. Like, somebody seems to be missing. That's not by accident.
Thank you. I'm Jamie McDonald, the Deputy United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. As you can see, we're here in response to an incident this morning that took place just behind us here at the Jacob K. Javits Center, which houses dozens of federal agencies and thousands of federal employees. I want to thank the work of our law enforcement partners whose rapid response led to the neutralization of the threat and the immediate turn to evidence collection and investigation. Our office, the Southern District of New York, led by the National Security Unit and the General Crimes Units, are working closely with the FBI, the NYPD, FPS, and others to investigate this matter. As you've heard, one individual has been taken into custody. Our investigation is continuing, and we will keep the press and the public updated on charges. Thank you.
All right, time for a few on-topic questions. Which be called on? From the corner.
We're collecting the evidence, and we know there were anti-government and anti-American statements made, and we know that an incendiary device and gasoline were used to start a fire. Charges are determined by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Right now, the FBI, the New York City Police Department, the New York State Police Department, all our members of the task force, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, are out collecting evidence today. We will present that evidence to the United States Attorney's Office, and the United States Attorney will make that charging decision. I don't know what those will be.
Aaron.
Jim, do you believe that he was targeting just the building, or was he aiming to hurt ICE agents?
His goal was to target the building. He said that and I'm not going to get into all the details of a post-arrest interview, but he was Mirandized, read his rights. He did agree to talk. In that post-arrest interview, he did say he was targeting the building and he was okay if he hurt or killed people going in and out of the building, whether they were federal employees or civilians. I would mention a lot of business was canceled, not by the Federal Protective Services. Federal Protective Services, once they mitigated the situation, the building remained open, employees could come and go, and we continue to do work. But some agencies decided to close business for the day. There was a naturalization ceremony scheduled for today that was canceled. And the one civilian victim was an immigrant that had a hearing today for their immigration status. So that's quite unfortunate and quite ironic at the same time.
Mark Morales, CNN.
What can you say about the literature that was found in there? Was there like a manifesto? What do you know about the whereabouts of the way in? Is the phone recorded? What did you get in the town? How did you get there?
So he arrived in this area, well, I should say, yesterday he went from Harlem. He took the subway down to the Penn Station area. He walked down and stayed overnight in the vicinity of the Holland Tunnel on the street. Then he came down to this area around 5 a.m. He ventured over to our spot a little after 8 o'clock. That's the timeline for his movements. We're still collecting evidence. NYPD is out doing what the NYPD does great, and they're working with the JTTF on that.
CBS.
He has a couple of encounters with law enforcement that we're not ready to talk about, nothing rising to this level. Look, I would say that protesting in the United States is protected by the First Amendment. We do not track protesters. We do not know who comes and goes as far as protests. So I don't know if he's been involved in any protests at all.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
That's interesting. The FBI just said that they don't track protesters. I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people from January 6th who would beg to differ. But I won't go there. I'll let the guy, maybe he wasn't there then. But don't tell me you don't track protesters. How did you know in a matter of a few hours that the guy basically slept on the street near the Holland Tunnel? So he went from Harlem, then he went near the Holland Tunnel, stayed overnight on the ground there, and then somehow made his way by car to 26 Fed, where he had all this stuff with him. I don't know, something ain't working here. Why would he sleep on the street if he had access to a vehicle? I'm pretty sure, that would have been more comfortable. But we'll see. More stuff will definitely come out, undoubtedly. Let me show you something that the ABC News put out. incendiary. Now I want you to see what they call this story at the beginning here. Quote, anti-government extremist. Anti-government extremist sets off incendiary device outside federal building in New York. And they go down here to talk about a man described as an anti-government extremist set off an incendiary device to set fire outside of a Manhattan federal building that houses an immigration court, the FBI said, leaving 3 with minor injuries. Andrew Arabaka, 43, allegedly poured gasoline onto the ground outside 26 Fed and ignited it with a lighter and a large firework and a canister on Monday morning. FBI Assistant Director in Charge, James Barnacle, that was the guy you just heard. He also allegedly pulled out his airsoft rifle and fired 5 to 7 pellets in the direction of 26 Federal Plaza. And here's a still picture, because obviously you can't show the video on YouTube, but there's the actual picture of him dumping the incendiary liquid. And then here it is with it actually on fire. So I'm going to ask you something. Ask, not ax. This, and I'm trying not to put on a tinfoil hat here, but could this be an actual dry run for something? Now, hear me out here. This guy, a former military guy, and he understood, let me see basically how close I can get to 26 Fed with an incendiary device or whatever he had. So he goes and he sleeps outside the Holland Tunnel, makes his way to 26 Fed. Nobody stops him with all the stuff that he has, which we'll get into in case you didn't hear. And then he goes up to 26 Fed, right outside the building, I will say. And instead of like charging the building, he basically creates a puddle of some sort of flammable liquid. And then once he puts the puddle of inflammable liquid out front concrete and marble, he then lights said stuff on fire way away from any people. And then he happens to have an airsoft pellet gun to then begin, shooting at random people as they came out. So what if you were planning something and you wanted to see the response time and you wanted to see how close you could get to the building, maybe not this one, but another federal building, so that you could launch some sort of incendiary device? And as you see from the pictures here, this guy was able to walk up literally steps away from the building. No barricades. Actually, there's a barricade there, but it didn't prevent him from being literally steps from the building. Now, he just happened to be some moron with a bucket of gas or something and some fireworks, and it pretty much, some people outside could have gotten hurt, but your ability to really hurt somebody here isn't that great. Yeah, somebody could have came out and got engulfed in flames, but it's not the kind of things that, those kind of people like. They like making big impacts. So the impact I'm seeing is somebody was able to walk up within feet of the door with some sort of stuff, and instead of going towards the door or doing anything, let me just dump this out here. Then after I go ahead and do that, then I'm going to go ahead and light it on fire. And then I'm just going to calmly walk away. That's him in the picture. And so it says, more to this. Arabaka is an anti-American, anti-government extremist. After his arrest, he did say he was targeting the building and he was okay if he hurt or killed people going in and out of the building, whether they were federal employees or civilians. He didn't care. Kill everybody. 2 government employees and 1 civilian suffered minor injuries, noting that 1 civilian victim was an immigrant there for, incidentally, ironically, his immigration hearing. Arabaka, described by the Department of Homeland Security as an anti-immigration and custom enforcement rioter, was apprehended by the officers. By the way, the entire apprehension was kind of amazing. Good thing there wasn't anybody, no other accomplices, because they would have got lit up. Once they realized what was going on, the response was extreme. Erbach, a former soldier who served from 2000 to 2005. Now it gets interesting. Erbach is a former soldier who served from 2001 to 2005 and worked as a mechanic on the Patriot missile systems. Really? With police noting he wore a military-style helmet, he's been taken into custody and has been interviewed. So, you're telling me this guy isn't some numbnuts who just decided, today I'm going to just light something on fire. He is experienced with the Patriot missile system. Okay, so he just decided to spread some gas or something. Gotcha. But then they started talking about what he had with him. And then he had all this stuff with him. And they said his cart, I guess he walked up with a shopping cart, anti-ICE literature, the i.e. the ongoing manifesto. He yelled derogatory terms about ICE, probably F-ICE. On a suspect cart was a sign reading ICE off our streets. And then where's the catch he had here? He had a whole bunch of stuff. There it is right there with axes and knives and all kinds of things. And he got within feet of 26 Fed. Not a block. He got within a few feet of the front door. And nothing really bad happened. But what if this guy who worked on the Patriot missile, I don't know, happened to have something that could blow a little bit bigger, that could cause a little bit more of an impact? I'm sure I'm not the only one who looked at this and went, dry run. They got some stooge to walk up to the building. Hey, see what you can do. Hey, let me dump this stuff out here, and I'm going to walk away. Let's see how long it takes for them to catch me. Where are they coming from? Out of what doors are the people going to show up? Who is it? What kind of officers? What are they carrying? What's their weaponry? How are they protected? Because if somebody's sitting across the street or just looking like this, like, okay, that's where they're going to come from. That's how many people there are. And it didn't cost them anything for this recon. Didn't cost them. I mean, this poor soul's going to go away for a long time. But I guess if you're the Manchurian terrorist of the day, you probably don't care. Right? He fought for the cause. You've been hearing that a lot lately with these socialist nutbags, for the cause, for the movement. You think they would take one for the team? You see, that's one of the things I've been telling people about for quite a long time here talking, is that they are more committed than many of us are in keeping America safe. They are committed. The idiot Hassan Piker showed up yesterday and did a speech wearing a Mao Zedong uniform. Not a single Democrat has a problem. See, I have a prognosis, not a prognosis, but a thesis on this. Thesis? Well, let me call it a hunch. My hunch here, going through this, my hunch is the Democrats know they can't win, which is why they're letting these little socialists permeate their party. They know it's over. There's no way that some guy who says he menstruates out of his butt is a realistic candidate. But they all kept quiet. Not one Democrat said, come on, Maine, you can't have this guy going out here saying he menstruates out his butt. Can you get him off the stage? Not one. Not a single one. Every time they say something, nobody talks against them. You just let them do what they want. And it's getting worse and worse and worse in terms of the things that they keep saying. I don't know if you've been following. I've been following very intently as to what they're saying at their meetings and what Bernie's saying and what AOC is saying. And none of the Democrats, other than Fetterman, say a word. Not Chuck Schumer. Nope, none of them. They just following behind him. Why is that? Why are the Democrats, who obviously must have some intelligent people in that party, just letting this stuff happen? Because I believe they know they can't win. I think they have said, we're going to blame Trump for everything. And so we think Trump is going to stop the elections. We think Trump is going to throw a monkey wrench into all this, and he's going to come out and try to find a way that he can stop the elections. So why don't we get him to do that? Why don't we get President Trump to go full Andrew Jackson and do something like do the Insurrection Act or whatever he needs to do to go ahead and stop the election? Well, Barry, why would the Democrats do that? Because it plays right into their hands. They're announcing it now. They're advertising it to everybody. Hey, listen, Trump's going to do this. Trump's going to do that. And even many of us are like, please do something. And then when he does it, all hell's going to break loose. Oh, we told you this was what's going to happen. Even though you're running this moron Tallarico in Texas and these other socialists in New York, you're basically throwing your party to the wind. You don't care anymore. Lose. We don't care. Say something stupid. State all the crazy stuff. Do these crazy anti-government things. Let it happen. Give him the opportunity to call it a day. And then when he calls it a day, we can blame him and get even more people all up in arms. Sound far-fetched? It only sounds far-fetched if you haven't been paying attention with everything that they've been doing. Here, let me show you something that would show you how far-fetched I am actually talking. Where is this? All right. Over the weekend, you heard Mondami say, if you saw my shows, that he did an interview. He's like, we're considering arresting Bibi Netanyahu. And it blew up. People are like, are you nuts? So you would think a prudent person would step back and go, I didn't really mean that. Well, he said this.
When it comes to Benjamin Netanyahu, we're speaking about someone who's the subject of an international criminal court arrest warrant. And he's the subject of this arrest warrant for alleged crimes against humanity, for war crimes, and he's the architect of the genocide against Palestinians in Gaza as Israel's prime minister. These are not facts of my personal assessment, they are facts of public record. And I believe that when someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously, whether...
By who? Since when did an international court criminal Grand Poopah somewhere overseas tell you, who is way down the food chain, that, yeah, you should be taking something seriously? Who gave you that power? There is nothing to deliberate. You can't do crap, but that's not going to stop him.
It's Benjamin Netanyahu or it's Vladimir Putin or whomever else. What I've also made clear is that my administration will follow all applicable local laws. That is our commitment. That is something that we will follow through on when it comes to an adherence to local law. And that's all I have to add on that.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say about that. You said that over the weekend. You said that's all you had to say a couple days ago. And here you are again talking about the same subject. Why is he talking about this subject? It's never going to happen. I mean, President Trump came out today and said, just in case you're not sure, Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in any way, shape, or form while in the United States of America. He is fighting against the Islamic Republic of Iran, which recently killed 52,000 innocent protesters and has spent the last 47 years killing American soldiers and others. The only ones that should be arrested are the people that led Iran into this unprecedented spiral of death and destruction, something that should have been dealt with years ago by previous presidents, President Donald J. Trump. So why would Mandami be talking about this? It's never gonna happen. And President Trump did need to address it, but I'm glad he did. But the entire thing with it is, A, Benjamin Netanyahu would be under the protection not only of his own people, but the Secret Service. Mandami has somewhat control over the New York police. Do you really think a New York police officer is going to put his hands on Benjamin Netanyahu? No, that ain't happening. And even if one of them tried, they would probably end up getting whacked. Mossad ain't gonna play. The Secret Service isn't gonna play. So why in the hell why would you even be talking about this? Why would you be even mentioning Benjamin Netanyahu being a war criminal? And that, if something needs to happen, I firmly believe that he's a war criminal and that, we got to take this serious. Why would he be saying it? Because all of this is to continue to fuel the orcs. It is continuing to drive and ferment these people so that they get the foaming up the mouth, the craziness, the insanity. Every single thing the Democrats are doing right now in association with the socialist commies in their party and the idiot wearing a Mao Zedong outfit, to a speech is to drive the crazies even crazier. We're watching a movie and these people don't realize they're in a horror movie. They're starring in a freaking horror movie. And we're sitting back, and we're the ones that these zombies want to eat. And so let me just throw out some more red blood and red meat and chum and throw it out there, knowing full well I could never arrest him. I'm just talking out my butt. Why say it? Because somewhere in the deep recesses of some basement somewhere is some idiot like Arabaka who's like, I'm going to put on a military helmet and go out there and throw some bombs or something. It's going to get worse. Remember the saying, we have to be on point every single time. They only have to do it right once. And if they do it right once, they are going to take out a whole bunch of people. The World Cup just ended. President Trump went there. He got back. He at the airport, he said it was a great event. And one of the things I don't think enough people, because maybe a lot of people in America don't follow World Cup events, soccer, is that this thing, as they said, is like having a Super Bowl every other day. It's packed. 70, 80,000 people in the stands. Oh, by the way, they're all paying at least $6,000 to $10,000 for a ticket. So let's not talk about that either. And throughout the entirety of the World Cup, in multiple states, in multiple different venues across America, nothing happened. Why is that? Why is it that the media and people in MAGA and certain podcasters aren't saying, wow, we just hosted an event that the world was looking at. Not America, the entire world was looking at. And the only thing the libtards could get was that Trump got booed a couple times. That was it. The grand marquee was rolled out. The red carpet was rolled out to the world. If there was a moment, if there was a time that a terrorist attack or something could have happened, that would have been their moment. And nothing happened. I don't know what chatter was going on. I don't know what people were thinking, but we didn't see a drone fly into a stadium. We didn't see a drone fly into a parking lot at a tailgate. Nothing happened. So I was talking to Robin about that this morning. But first of all, let's applaud the Trump administration for keeping millions of people safe. So give it up. Give it up. But I was talking to Robin about that this morning. Again, I had to put the Spidey hat on. I'm like, something's wrong here. Every time something happens, it's because, oh, you don't watch out if you're going to piss these people off overseas. And if these people overseas get pissed off, they're going to strike out against us. You've heard that. And yet millions of people came to soccer games and nothing happened. Wow. What if many of the terrorist attacks that have happened in America were homegrown, home funded, home coordinated? Because the only thing that's different is that there's no USAID money. There's no fraud money here. Scott Besson is watching all wire transfers where money goes back and forth. So much of the fraud has been taken off the table. People are, they can't touch the money even if they have money. And Pete Hegseth has come in and cleaned house in the military. Bill Pulte got a bunch of people out of the intelligence community. What if a lot of the stuff we've seen has been grown here, that we created it to cause panic and destruction? Because I found it, nobody else finds it odd. Are you just thinking about it right now going, yeah, there was all these games all over the place and millions of people traveling in airports, doing all kinds of things, going back and forth from different countries. People are getting visas to come into games, paying $7,000 a ticket, and nothing happened. So either President Trump put some ironclad security at these events, or we had an anomaly that can't be explained. And the only thing we're seeing right now is a guy dumping gas in front of 26 Fed and trying to light it on fire with fireworks. I don't know. I hate even supposing this because that would indict our own people, but something's awry here. And all the stuff we've been doing in Iran for the last couple months, I know, like you've had one eye open trying to think, everything okay here? And we're bombing the hell out of them. Nothing happening here. I just found it eerie. I found it eerie that over the last 5 months, we've been bombing the hell out of Iran, and Iran's been going on television, death to America. Yes, kill the Americans, kill them all. And they got a big soccer tournament. And nothing happened. Thank God. But I don't take that safety for granted. I feel like something big has happened already that we don't know. I can't put my finger on it, so I can't tell you, but something obviously is different. You feel it when you go places. People don't have that inherent fear anymore of the person over there. We're starting to feel comfortable. That takes me back to the Democrats and the idiots that they're propping up. They know all of this. They know people were paying $6, $7, $10, $20, $100,000 for tickets. You can't keep saying the economy sucks when you can see it. You can go to a restaurant, you can go to the mall, and people are spending money, and they're on vacation, and their hotels, and everything else. You can't keep saying life sucks when everybody else is like, well, it's okay to me. And now you bring in this new crap, it is crap, a new crop of crap, and all they're saying is, it sucks, it's the poor people's, and we can't do anything, and we need to change the government. And he means necessary. Good luck with that. And I menstruate out of my butt. And I'm a Nazi, but I'm not really a bad Nazi. I mean, it is so insane. At some point, we all need to step back and go, what the hell is going on? Something is really weird here. And now this This guy's talking about arresting Bibi Netanyahu if he comes to America? Huh? None of it makes sense, which to me means it all makes sense. They're terrified of Trump. They're terrified of what things are going to look like. They're terrified of election security. They're terrified of it all because they know he is 4 or 5 votes away from making them an extinct party. If we're ever able to somehow get the Save America Act done, they're done. And there's a bunch of Republicans who know if he gets 4 or 5 more votes, they're done. And so I think right now we are in a situation which I've told you for many, many months. It's a powder keg. Something's got to break here because it is now July 20th. Y'all know what happens tomorrow? July 21st? I've talked about it for quite some time. On the heels of the World Cup. See, the World Cup ending yesterday wasn't by accident. They had this plan their calendar out accordingly. Because what happens tomorrow, and I've been telling you guys that all eyes are about to shift. Tomorrow, NFL camps for the rookies open up. It's football season, people. 21st, rookies show up. Next Monday, the vets show up. The Hall of Fame game is August 6th, and then it's game on. August 6th, the first game of the NFL season, and then college will be shortly thereafter. And then between now and February, nobody's paying attention to these idiots. It's their worst nightmare. We've gone through the doldrums of summer. We've made it through. Oh, it's so boring. Nothing's going on. Oh my God, try to find some news. It's gonna change now. I know it. Now you know it. And I'm sure they know it. So now we need to wreak some havoc, do something, because what do we do well, not even a month. Today's the 20th. The first game is August 6th. We're talking literally 2 weeks and kickoff starts. So you thought the World Cup was taking eyeballs away? In about 2 weeks, all across the country, colleges and football, and nobody's going to be paying attention to these idiots. And worse than that, the stands will be packed. People will be making money, spending money, having fun. And then, of course, then you're into the holidays. Then all this stuff means nothing. So, ergo, I gave you a lot to think about, a lot to digest, but I've been telling you about that for quite some time. I just didn't realize it was going to happen 30 days earlier because of the World Cup. Nobody gives a crap what these idiots are saying. Trump is winning. He is definitely winning. And so now is when they get desperate because he's winning.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
You see, SB, I don't think enough people put that tournament as a win in our pockets because we got through it relatively safely and unscathed. I think they said they had minor arrest. I think Kash Patel posted something, but I don't think one person was killed or anything. Are you dead? Hold on. What is your mic on? Hold on. Where's your mic? I don't hear you. Jay, check 1, 2. Wait a minute. Where are you here? Where's SB? I can't hear him. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'll come back to him. I'm looking for you here. Hold on. Wait. I still don't have you. Are you there now? Say something. No, your mic's not working. It's working. I don't have any level on you here at all. So it's like your mic just went away. It did go away. It's completely gone. Wow. Hold on. Let me try one more thing. Let me try number 74. Are you there now?
Chesty, one,
There
two,
you
three.
are. There you are. All right, I got you.
Bingo!
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I don't hear him.
Damn. I was singing. You used to be singing, man. That was the best thing.
Did
really.
the guys in the black helicopters come in and boot you off or something? Oh my God!
No way. Hey, let's take a moment to congratulate JD and USA Vance on their new baby boy, Alec Neil Vance.
Oh yeah, that's right. You had the baby. And for months of hearing this.
Yeah, he's gonna. I'm sure he's gonna be busy changing some of those.
Oh boy! Wow, it was a boy, right? It was a baby boy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Their fourth
awesome.
child.
That's so awesome.
And I don't know if there's congratulations here, but the new Prime Minister in the UK, Andy Burnham. I mean, I haven't really heard much about him, but Starmer is out of here.
Well, how is this guy? Is this guy any better? Any? I mean, what's the lowdown on him?
Grok says he has pledged to reduce political toxicity, improve living standards, and bring back hope. Golf clap.
Okay, all right.
I mean, the city's burning, literally. I mean, they have a lot of work to do since it's
Londonistan over there.
I was just going to say that. You took the words out of my mouth. Exactly.
All right, what you got
Anyway,
here?
I have a couple stories. I've cut 1, 2, 3, and 4. You decide what you want. Cut 1 is the OSINT Defender.
Why, is there something going on over there?
No. Well, they just started their 10th night of bombing. I didn't need to bring up that because that's just the cut and paste from yesterday. But here, this story says that an official has told Barack Ravid that Donald Trump is not currently interested in revamping the now defunct MOU framework through diplomatic processes, as he is focused on making Iran pay for breaching the Memorandum of Understanding and for continuing its terrorist acts in the Strait of Hormuz and for killing the American soldiers in Jordan. Per Ravid, citing the official upscaled strikes on Iran will continue until President Trump decides otherwise. I saw another story too that one of their nuclear actors was heightened alert because apparently Trump might target that as well. So he's going full as much as he can, full ballistic. 10th night in a row. So there you go.
And this story I'm going to be covering tomorrow because I got a bunch to get to today.
Rubio?
Yeah, Rubio.
Do you want me to read this?
No, yeah, go ahead, because they're all freaking out. They're all freaking out about this too.
Yeah, I mean, Rubio. He's really doing a good job. I really like him. I definitely think he's doing a great job. Anyway, Marco Rubio in a new bombshell exposes these leftist groups for being connected to the Cuban communist regime. They even called for agitated resistance and published the location of ICE facilities. And here they are: Code Pink, we knew about them; ICAP, the People's Forum, of course, the Democratic Socialists of America, National Lawyers Guild, the National Network on Cuba. Rubio exposed the American leftists for working with the Cuban regime to cause socialism in America. Time for the Cuban regime to fall. Say hello to
I've heard of Code Pink. I don't know who ICAP is. And obviously Democrat Socialists. I have to look into some of those other names on there because again, the enemy is here. They're inside the gates at this point, and they don't have any problem with being complete nuts. That's why it's going to keep going in terms of on them, but I don't know what their ability to do anything is other than protest. Let's see here. Then you got.
This one I thought was just a crazy story. So you got an illegal alien. If you remember Ruby Garcia, he's now suing Donald Trump for using his mugshot, demanding U.S. citizenship and millions of dollars as damages. He's in prison for 39 years. I don't know if you knew that. Brandon Ortiz Vite federal lawsuit has officially been filed, and he's fuming that Trump used his illegal status and mugshot in 2024. Crazy. 39 years.
What's crazier is he'll find a judge to give it to him.
Probably, yeah.
That's the crazier part. Oh my gosh. But you know what? Ruby Garcia's parents should sue him. And that way, if he were to even get a dime, it would go to them. I mean, it is so crazy with these judges. I think the Insurrection Act and everything else he's got to do has got to go towards those people too.
I'm hoping and praying for that. I keep thinking like any day now, any day now. And then the last story, you were talking about like the reasons why he's doing it. I mean, if he was a veteran, maybe he had some PTSD, he was brainwashed, but Wayne Mullen says it's possible the anti-ICE attack and incendiary device in New York City could have been a suicide mission. You see him armed with non-lethal weapons. It could be a unaliving approach. If this was some mental illness, maybe you can get this Army veteran some help. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why he's saying that, but
no,
I don't go for it. I don't go for it.
No, I don't go for that because, you know, the ones who have done suicide by cop or stuff like that, it's pretty easy to do. It's not complicated.
Yeah, and they actually go through with it, right? They actually get full of bullets, you know?
No,
I mean,
if you see, I couldn't show the video, but if you see the video, he dumps all the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He lights it on fire, and he calmly walks away. He didn't even confront a police officer. It wasn't like he pointed the airsoft rifle at him. No, he did all his dump work and then walked away. So
went back to the cart.
Yeah, he went back to the cart.
What was he wearing? He looked like a little troll. Like Oompa Oompa or something.
You can always tell who they are. I mean, they look like hell. It's oh my God,
they're melting. They're orcs. It's true. They're orcs. They probably, you know, their face is melting. I mean, I've never seen, you know, even some of these white liberal women, they look like they've been beat up and through hell. You know, it's like,
I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of scary, and they are the dregs of society and everything else. You know, it's. I feel bad for so many of them. It's bad in terms of like, you know what, if you needed some help, or I mean, I don't know. I just every time the guy menstruated out of his butt, he told people, and there wasn't a single Democrat who said, "Come on, man, let's go over here. I got some people you want to talk to. Let's have a drink, and we're gonna have a big drink in this rubber room, okay? We're gonna help you out."
Barry, I'm not a doctor, but blood out of your rectum usually means you got hemorrhoids or you have cancer, bro. So you might want to get that looked into.
Or,
oh my,
never mind. Not going to go there.
I know where you're going.
But in any event, there was nobody came up to him. Can we have a talk? Let's sit down.
They're all afraid to go against each other, except when they decide that's time for them to go, like what they did with Swalwell and Plattner. When it's time to go, suddenly come out, you know, like, you know, Elizabeth Warren, she had a video saying, you know, he's my type of man. And then she walks it back. And, you know, I said, she's an Indian giver. You know, I mean,
no, and even then, if that's your kind of man, well, then go ask him for his help. When you find out that, hey, he's done this, hey, can we go talk to a psychiatrist because you're crazy? But nope, they just cast him aside. They're like, no big deal, and that's what's going to continue to happen. All right, you know.
All right, so you think Trump's going to come on live? I'm been looking to see if anything's been announced.
No, I don't think so. No? I think whatever. When I looked at the schedule, it said that the event with the Little League team was like, you know, maybe he wanted to, but maybe he looked at it and said, I don't want to subject these kids to these people. Let me just check here and see what time that was.
All right.
He was supposed to. He was supposed to meet with the Little League World Champions at 3:30. That's an hour and a half ago. So I doubt anything is coming on at this point. And he probably just spent some time with the kids. Didn't want to have to go there and take all kinds of questions from Caitlin Collins and everything else. So the heck with them. You know, it's funny.
All right.
We're an hour in. And I haven't even started the show yet.
Didn't I tell you that early on text? I said, Barry, your intro's up to 2 hours long now. I love it, though. It's a lot of good material.
I didn't know somebody was going to try and roll out some gas in front of the federal building, but nonetheless.
Unbelievable.
All right.
Never
I'll
a
be
dull
back.
moment. All right. Commercial break.
Thank you. I really didn't know. It's crazy. You know what, SV? I think your mic is still on. I just turned it off just in case. Just in case. All right, let me tell you about Lear Capital, one of the sponsors of today's show. If you find it really hard to understand all the technical information regarding the economy and the markets, it's not your fault. More than likely, no one has taken the time to educate you on the difference between a bond or a stock, and never mind gold and gold price, and difference between actual silver, actual gold, and, paper certificates. There's so much to know. But now you don't have to feel like that. My friends at Lear will help you learn about gold and silver at your pace before you jump in. They're making it so easy for you to make an educated and informed decision about gold and silver. Now, all you have to do is text the code BARRY to 43343. From there, you will be immediately put into a call queue, and one of Lear's reps will give you a call and reach out to you directly. You'll also receive a text message back that has a link to a landing page where you can sign up to receive a free investor kit or guide. Once they fill out the form, your investor kit will be emailed to you immediately. So now learning about gold and silver on your time is extremely convenient and easy. Just text the code BARRY to 43343. All right, we'll be right back.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
First, I want to explain to you here on the scene, we're actually watching as investigators are going through that cart that you just described that he allegedly pulled up here to this federal building where sources tell us 2 rifles were inside. We actually just saw investigators pulling out some sort of sheet material with some large either painting or writing on it. And as you can see, they're kind of going through that cart as of now. What we learned from sources is that this person who, again, is in custody at the moment, pulled up with this car, had 2 rifles in it, had a bunch of fireworks, and used somewhat of like a pellet gun to keep people away as he tried to light these fireworks, according to sources, and then threw this incendiary device at the building, 26 Federal Plaza, that houses ICE, houses other federal agencies, and also the New York FBI headquarters. We also know in that cart, we're learning from sources, there were some sort of posters or writings about anti-ICE material. Right now, investigators are going through the criminal background of this individual who is in police custody, trying to figure out if he's had any sort of associations with police in the past. Is there some sort of checking the mental wellness of this person? These are all questions that they're continuing to ask.
Anti-ICE stuff on him. That's about all we know. Can you add any further detail to that? What exactly was the content?
I don't want to get ahead of the FBI in this. I simply don't know. I just got advised of this before I came out the North Lawn. But again, why does he think ICE is bad? Why does he want to attack ICE? Again, because the last year and a half, all he's heard from Democratic members of Congress and sanctuary city mayors and governors is that ICE is not a real law enforcement agency. ICE is separating families. ICE arresting people in churches and hospitals, which is none of it's true. So I'm sure he's been educated by the wrong people, and that's why he's chosen to take action. Because every time they talk about this hateful rhetoric rises, there's that small percentage on the far left who will take some sort of ridiculous action because they feel emboldened because members of Congress are agreeing with him that ICE needs to go away.
You know, but these were fatal.
All right, so Tom Homan just happened to be scheduled for a number of different interviews as all this stuff was happening. He's not having it whatsoever. In fact, he's going to be pushing harder into New York City. And what I was talking about earlier when I said, we had an entire event take place over the last 30 days at multiple venues in multiple parts of the country, President Trump acknowledged that. He said the World Cup turned out to be a spectacular success. I want to thank all those involved, but in particular, our great law enforcement. The respect that everyone had for them, together with their love of country, kept this great championship the safest and most spectacular World Cup in history by far. Thank you also to all others involved, in particular to young and dynamic Andrew Giuliani, working for the government of the United States of America, and a fantastic president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, on a job well done. Few people will ever be able to accomplish what he has done in elevating the World Cup to a level that nobody thought was possible. Congratulations to all, President Donald J. Trump. So to dovetail off of what I said earlier, we've now seen a couple of major events take place. We saw the entirety of the World Cup. We saw 4th of July with everything that went along with that. We saw the Great American Fair. And then we're about to see the big race in downtown Washington. And, knock on wood, everything, not one, not a few, every single thing. The only, I forgot about the MMA thing. The only thing that has happened is weather. That's the one thing that nobody could really control or say they can control. And that has had any threat to anything has been weather. And incidentally, it was kind of weird that both those events, the weather went away when it was supposed to. When the fireworks were supposed to go off, the weather stopped. When the MMA fight was supposed to happen, the weather cleared. I don't know if it rained at any of the soccer matches. Nothing happened. And it's not by accident that President Trump says, I want to thank our great law enforcement. And so, based on what I said earlier and what you saw, and then you see this idiot, and now Tom Homan is basically telling him, we're not stopping. It's working, which is probably pissing Democrats off.
Shootings, of course, in Houston and in Maine. And in Houston, it was an unmarked car. So when you're saying don't resist, these individuals who were chasing the man who died, they didn't have markings on that vehicle that would allow for him to know that they were ICE. It just looked like a car coming after them in the videos.
No, they have emergency lights. Officers have insignia, so when they get out of that car and approach the car, you can clearly see the law enforcement officers.
Well, in the
Again,
video
this
that
is- these
has
people
been
in-
public, it's not a marked car.
These people, I'm not saying it's a marked car, but they have emergency lights and sirens. So when they pull somebody, they want to activate the emergency lights. A lot of police departments. I'm in New York City right now. A lot of NYPD officers are driving unmarked vehicles, and that helps them find people that don't want to be found, right? So, you know, but bottom line is, we'll see when the investigation plays out, but they would be alive today if they simply complied with a vehicle stop by federal law enforcement. Just comply. You can, if you don't think you've been treated right and they had no reason to stop you, then there's avenues to take them to court, to sue.
Well,
to get
the
lawyer
family of the man in Houston
argue
said that he thought he was being robbed because it was an unmarked vehicle. Not that it was law enforcement at all.
They had emergency lights. They activate emergency lights, blue and light. You know. In my vehicle, I drive.
Wait. So let me put the solemn face on. The family of the dead guy said that the dead guy thought he was being robbed. Did the dead guy text them or something and say I'm being robbed? I'm just wondering, how the hell you know what the dead guy actually thought? Was he in the middle of an altercation with the ICE agents and said, I think I'm being robbed by these masked guys? Or did you just make that up, Margaret? I'm pretty sure you just made that up. He thought he was being mugged. I don't know any mugging where they actually turn on police lights before they mug you. Pretty much try to do that in the dark and not bring a whole lot of attention to themselves. Meanwhile, these guys are turning on sirens and stuff. This woman is insufferable. I can't stand her. She tries to come off high and mighty. Yesterday, she tried to go after the Bank of America president, said they didn't really make all that money. Yeah, they did. They made $6 million. Oh, I must have my stuff wrong. Yeah, you do. I got to believe the new people who are going to buy CBS are going to have her go away because all she tries to do is come on with gotchas, and Tom Homan ain't playing that.
I'm with my security detail.
You've seen that on video? Because we haven't.
I don't care what you've seen. Well, we haven't. Oh, you must have went to the Mika Brzezinski School of Journalism, where you're the one who's the arbiter of truth. No longer the courts, no longer the camera. I haven't seen it yet. Tom, you're better than me because I'd have been. I don't care. I don't care.
On video, ma'am.
That there were lights, because in the videos that we've seen, there aren't. And because there weren't body cameras, it is hard to substantiate some of what you were saying.
Okay, well, I have not seen the videos, but I'm saying our vehicles are equipped with emergency lights. Now, if they didn't activate the lights, again, I haven't seen that video. If they didn't activate the lights, then there's an issue there, right? But I'm saying they're equipped with lights. So let me just caveat that. They should have been equipped with lights and sirens, but I do not know specifically if they activated those lights.
You know, Tom, staying on New York, Governor Kathy Hochul recently signed legislation essentially making New York a sanctuary state. You threatened her, if she did so, that we would see more ICE agents in New York City than we've ever seen before. I know that you've also reviewed operational plans. What's the latest on that? When can we expect to see those ICE agents?
You'll see me at a press event when it's over.
It's a tease.
I'm not going to,
Any
forecast any enforcement operation. But here's another politician that says she said it 100 times. She believes in the enforcement of immigration law against those criminals. But then she locks us out of the jail. She can't square that. She says she cares about enforcing against criminal illegal aliens, but ended the 287G program where we were working with sheriffs in the jail. So if an illegal alien is sitting in that county jail, chances are he's not a choir boy, he's a criminal. But she locked us out of 287G programs. I looked at the data this morning, my chief of staff. We got just shy of 6,500 criminal aliens we took off the streets in New York. So the data doesn't match her talking points. In the 287G program, several hundred criminal illegal aliens were handed to us through that 287G program. Now that she ended it, those several hundred aliens in the future will be hitting the streets in New York, reoffending it against the citizens of New York, who she should really be caring about.
So are we talking days or weeks, do you think?
It's coming.
Yeah. He's about to surge more people into New York, despite what Mandami thinks and despite what Kathy Hochul thinks. It's coming. Now, right now, you have to understand that Mandami probably has seen this report, and I'm sure Hochul has seen this report, and I don't know how they're going to react except run to a microphone and talk dirty and be mad. They're coming. I can't tell you the exact day. They're coming.
So
come on, Tom. All right, fair.
What makes you think we're not already here? I mean, we got to remember, ICE is operating in New York City today. We're operating across the state today, but there's going to be a surge, and there needs to be a surge. But I am not going to show our hand because, you know, there are groups, well-funded groups, who will try to impede, interfere. We're not going to give them any upside on this.
Fair enough.
Stay tuned. Something tells me over the next couple of weeks we're going to have a whole bunch of video. I bet you they waited until the World Cup was over. They wanted to make sure everybody that was here to see the games, let's keep them safe as job number one. Now that that is over, now that the World Cup is finished, we have a champion. Now get into New York and clean these people up. So now after he did this, then he went back to the White House and he had this, they call it the Sticks. It was where he did a press conference.
Hi, Mr. Holman. Starting with what happened this morning in New York City, can you tell us more about the identity of the anti-ICE rider and then anything you know about the manifesto?
No, I just got apprised of that before I walked out here, so I don't want to get ahead of the FBI. I don't know what changed since I walked out here, so it's too early. I'm not going to comment on it.
So
other than this is another example of someone, you know, attacking ICE because of the constant mismessaging and vilification of the men and women of ICE.
So will there be investigations into ICE agents who either kill people that they are pursuing or are involved in some kind of violent altercation?
Of course there will be.
The New York Times is reporting that the FBI was told over the weekend that they will no longer investigate confrontations with immigration agents.
Well, let's be clear. What we mean by confrontations, it's always been history that, you know, for instance, what happened in Minneapolis and Chicago and Newark, prosecution of 111 cases, which are assaulting law enforcement officers, is usually handled by HSI, you know, criminal investigations. The FBI does get involved with them, but they're not leading. But when it comes to shootings, the FBI is always taking the lead. So I think that messaging is a little confusing. The FBI is still going to continue to lead shooting investigations. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not aware of any change in policy, and I think the FBI and DHS actually pushed back on that story.
Mr. Holman, when it comes to body cameras, you're a fan of body cameras now, right?
Yes, I've always been a fan of body
cameras. Why did the administration, there was an executive order the president put forward when he came into office to rescind the Biden executive order that was mandating body cameras. Why the change now? Why is the administration...
Look, I'm a supporter of body cameras. You know, I know that body cameras exonerate officers almost 90% of the time. I want the American people to see what that ICE agent sees. You know, you can have cell phone cameras from across the street or cameras from the side or city cameras. I want the American people to see what that ICE officer sees when he takes action. And I think it's going to help ICE with the false media that's out there about it.
But then why did the administration roll back what the Biden administration is trying to do to get body cameras and all?
That's a question above me. I'm just telling when I came back and, you know, then when Democrats shut the government down, I was a part of that negotiation team up on the Hill. And they kept going to Minnesota. All the mistakes they say happened in Minnesota. I don't think there's a lot of the mistakes they claim in Minnesota. A lot of them were, I don't think, mistakes. But one thing they asked was, we want body cameras. I said, well, there's money, $120 million in the bill you're holding up for me to buy the body cameras. So the reason there's not body cameras nationwide right now because they shut the government down. And anybody doesn't believe that, look it up. Now that we have the funding, body cameras have been purchased. As of last week, they were training the trainers. Body cameras are being deployed throughout the country, training the trainers so they can go to, you know, a Boston field office and train everybody. Here's how you use it. Here's how long you need to keep the tape. And it just wasn't the funding for the cameras either. We had to hire a lot of people to handle the FOIAs because I'm sure all you go FOIA camera every day, right? So we got our people to handle the FOIAs. We got in a storage capability of holding millions and millions of video. That's expensive. But now we got the money that's being implemented.
You just said that in Minnesota, what happened wasn't a mistake with the shootings that we saw.
Democrats claim all these mistakes were made. And when I sat down with them, they said, well, they want a mask off. No, we're not taking mask off.
Well, you're saying it's not a mistake. Do you have an update on the investigation that the American people don't know?
Look, I went to Minnesota and I said from day one, it was not a perfect operation. There were several chains of command. I had a problem with the targeting. I went on there and made changes. I brought in additional internal affairs agents in. We created one chain of command. And you know, I see a lot of people out there saying that, you know, oh, we surrendered Minnesota. No, we didn't. We got agreements that keeps that city safer, keeps the officers safer, and bottom line, keeps the aliens safer. Because the more aliens we can arrest in the safety and security of a jail means less criminal aliens being released to the street. So we were able to go up there and continue the operation, but we had unprecedented agreements where less criminal aliens are hitting the street, which is good for that state, good for that city, and safer for our officers. That's a win across the board.
Mr. Homan, on the ICE officer in Maine, is there any more clarity on how he got his job, considering the vetting concerns that his wife has raised? Are there potential changes coming to the vetting process of ICE agents?
That's a question for ICE. That's under investigation. I'm sure that part now is part of the investigation. We'll let the investigation play out. I'm not going to comment on the investigation. This is ongoing.
The New York Times found a review that 550
Mark Wayne Mullen as the DHS secretary. What would you describe as the difference between his management style and the management style of his predecessor?
And let me say this. Someone shared an ex-post this morning. There are people out there who want to attack this current administration. They don't think we're doing enough. There was an ex-post this morning that someone shared with me. Someone named Marianne or somebody. The ICE was arresting 3,000 aliens a day last year. No, not once. Not a single time did we arrest 3,000 aliens. And now they say we're arresting 2,000. We're hitting about 2,000 pretty steadily. Like I said this weekend, I looked at the data. Arrests are up about 40% over the same time period that we've been funded. Now, I've been frank from the beginning. Numbers were down for a few months because the department was shut down. Of course, numbers are going to go down when targeting less and officers, you know, less overtime and all those other reasons. When you shut, you know, the government down, there's going to be less to do. So, and I was very honest from day one. The numbers were down 12 to 16%, but now the numbers are trailing up 40% because we are fully funded. I thought they're doing their job.
See, that's one of the things that people haven't taken into account, that there's so many people on the right who are out there peddling complete misinformation or disinformation. And I liked his face. He just kind of had a chuckle. It's like, you don't have any idea what you're talking about. And the other thing people aren't taking into account is how many self-deportations how that has risen. I read yesterday that 80% of the Haitians in Springfield, Illinois, are gone. They self-deported. Nobody in the media will tell you that. None of them will ask that question. Is it true that 80% of the Haitians in Springfield are gone? Nobody's talking about that. So they're using all kinds of things to obfuscate and complain about. And there's another thing that just popped up today that people are complaining about again. And I'm like, get your information. Don't listen to people who are just taking things off a government website and then reading them to you and telling you that's what this means. We're trying to get Glenn Thompson on the show so we can actually talk to him specifically. Eric posted something. This was pretty interesting. Update. This was earlier. Mark Wayne Mullen posted a deportation flight being loaded up this morning, filled. It's a great day for deportations. Time for DHS to smash more ICE records. And they're loading them up. But you don't see that because nobody wants to show it to you. Nobody is going to. Just think of the Herculean task that Tom Homan has. And they're asking, hey, what's the difference between Mark Wayne Mullen and Kristi Noem? It's like, man, number one, we can't give you that information because we won't give it to you. It's none of your business. But then why aren't you talking about that? Where's your reporters? Why is there no reporter at the airport? Why are you putting that all over the news? Nope, nobody wants to talk about it. They want to keep complaining. I think complaining sells. I think the more, controversy you can stir up and bitch at brings you more numbers, because there has to be a reason why people do it, especially when they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
But I'm really tired of the false narratives going out there about what this administration is doing. The numbers are up. Last month, June, highest numbers of arrests in the history of the agency.
How many?
Then I see people say, wow, you're combining CBP numbers or Coast Guard. No, I didn't. The numbers I quoted this weekend were ICE numbers. So I wish people would do a little bit of research before they start attacking this administration, what we're doing right now. Our numbers are higher than ever been. And I'm sick and tired of people saying we're not doing enough. That's an insult to every ICE agent that's strapping up every day, working 6 to 7 days a week to get this done. It's an insult. These men and women are acting professionally. They're out there making record numbers, and people want to question numbers. I guess that's their right. But
that's what gets me. It's easy to talk about things without having all the data behind you and understand how much these guys are busting their ass. I mean, absolutely out there busting their ass, trying to get as many people out as possible, and then people complain it's still not enough. Instead of saying, thank you for your efforts, keep going, just keep going. He just told you earlier that they're surging into New York City. Anybody talking about that? Other than the fact that you saw that clip, did you know that they're getting ready to surge into New York City? Probably not. It's easier to complain than to applaud.
Let's compare facts.
I just have a question about the difference in the management style of those.
Me and Mark Wayne want to get along well, and he cares about the mission. We serve different roles. ICE and CBP reports to Mark Wayne Mullen. I'm here. I help Stephen Miller. We develop strategies that send down to the programs for implementation. So we got different roles. But I think Mark Wayne Mullen's doing a good job.
How does the FBI investigate these ICE agents if they confront people? That is what the New York Times is saying. That's what their reporting is. They have something that 550 people had charges brought against them for assaulting federal officers. Of the more than 400 cases that were resolved, nearly half had unraveled.
You know what's going to help, though? The body cameras. They didn't have body cameras. A lot of these confrontations happen. Again, I think body cameras are going to help. Look, I'm not going to comment on these investigations.
So that's the answer, not FBI investigating it, is what you're saying.
As far as I know, there's been no change in policy. The FBI and DHS just responded to that story and didn't agree with it. Again, I'm not in the loop on that. I can just tell you from my experience, FBI has always been involved in shooting investigations. HSI, they're the criminal investigation part of ICE. They do the majority investigations in 111, which is assault and beating an officer.
How are training procedures changing? You talked about training the trainers. How are those training procedures changing? And
they're not changing. The training was for the cameras. How do you operate a camera? What's the requirements? When do you turn it on? When do you turn it off? How quick do you need to store the data? How long is the data being stored? So there's a lot of work in this, and training the trainers. Once they get fully trained, they go to the field office with the equipment, and they implement and deploy it and tell people, here's how you use it and here's how you control it.
Are there
so what's the timeline then for every immigration agent to have a body camera?
As soon as possible, if I have my way.
So you're satisfied with the training right now of ICE agents? Nothing needs to be improved.
There's always room for that's a loaded question. There's always room for improvement. Things change all the time. FBI updates their training. DEA updates their training. Every police department updates their training. Because ICE used to, look, you can never be overtrained. I wish there was more training.
I think American people want the answer of when every ICE agent will be wearing a body camera. I know you said as soon as possible, but is there a timeline floating around within?
That's a question for ICE. I know they got the deployment schedule, and I know they got the equipment. That's a question for ICE. I'm not in the weeds that deep.
Is there required to turn on their cameras?
Every American wants to know when ICE is going to be wearing body cameras. Who do these people talk to? I'm seriously, what circle of friends do they ever? Oh, every American really wants to know when ICE is all going to have body cameras. No, we don't. I could care less. If he wants to put body cameras on them, go for it. If you don't want to put body cameras on them, I don't care. Just get them out. Keep those planes moving. I'd venture to say right now, if we took a poll in here, how many of you guys would want to, Americans want to know when you want to put the body cameras on? They just make crap up all the time.
At all times during a traffic stop?
Yeah. Yes.
And what's the consequence if they don't?
More about the quantity of ICE agents over the quality of the agents?
Say that again?
Is this administration more concerned about the number, the quantity of ICE administrations that have deployed over the quality?
I can't speak for everybody administration, but quality agents are very important. So it should be obvious. You don't give somebody a badge and gun, they need to be the best they can be.
So are there going to be reevaluations then of the hiring?
That's a question for ICE.
Is there any other procedure or protocol on the ground changing? Stops?
There's already, the director of ICE decided that, there needs to be at least one body camera on the scene. And again, I'm a big supporter of the body cameras. And as more body camera gets out there, they all happen.
That's the only change.
But let's be clear, you can attack the men and women at ICE all you want. It comes down to one simple fact. These people fail to comply with law enforcement. Even some of the major chiefs in this country who don't necessarily agree with this administration says you always comply with law enforcement. But the hateful rhetoric that ICE isn't a real law enforcement agency. I see these signs that were resist. ICE are let's abolish them. They're fascists. When you keep that hateful rhetoric up for a year and a half, there's going to be that percentage of that left population that it's going to be emboldened to take action because they're not real law enforcement agency. I should resist them. All they had to do is simply comply with law enforcement. If you don't like what law enforcement did to you, then go to the courts, sue, call the ACLU, do whatever you want to do. But you should always comply with law enforcement. If they did, they'd be alive today. Now, I'm not going to comment on the investigation itself. We'll wait for it to play out. This is about complying with law enforcement, and a lot of the negative, hateful, and I said this a year ago, if a hateful rhetoric doesn't stop, there will be bloodshed. And unfortunately, I was right. And I'll tell you something else. It's not over yet.
He's pissed off. He's righteously pissed off, and he's not taking any crap from this media. Body cameras, body cameras, body cameras. How about get out, get out, get out? How about you guys echo that? How about every single question is, how can we help you get these people the hell out of here so more people don't end up getting, shot because they're idiots? Why don't you facilitate that? Why don't you do something about the people who need to get out instead of worrying about encumbering the people trying to get them out? Body cameras. I got your body camera. Here's my body camera.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
And I'm not being, well, I guess I am. I don't care. I really don't care. If you're not supposed to be here, get out. It literally is that simple. Comply. You got a new president. You got new guys running things who are actually going to uphold the law. And it's a very simple proposition. You got the papers? You don't got no papers. Hit the road, Jack.
They keep attacking and miscommunicating what ICE does every day, calling them Nazis, and comparing ICE to the Nazi regime. Are you kidding me? And I'm not saying the whole country is convinced, but there's going to be that population that's just going to embolden to do something stupid. And I'm afraid that we're going to bury an ICE agent. I'm afraid I'm going to hand another folded flag to a spouse or a child of an ICE agent for simply doing his job. And for any member of Congress to keep attacking ICE and calling them fascists and Nazis, I said it 1,000 times. If they're a Nazi for enforcing the law, what's that make them? They wrote the law. We're not making this up. We're enforcing laws they wrote, and that they appropriate us money to enforce. Now, I'll say it once again. If ICE agents acted improperly or illegal, they'll be held accountable, just like they were held accountable in Minnesota. Everybody, guys, ICE agents are mom and dads too. They don't hang their heart on a hook every day to do this job. And it's just not attacking the ICE agents, it's attacking their spouses and children, and no one knows that better than me. I can't even go get a quart of milk at a grocery store without security detail. Why? Because I'm enforcing laws in this country. It's pathetic and it's disgusting. Nice talk.
That's one guy I wouldn't want to have pissed off at me. All right, I'm just saying he looks like he'd rip off your head and pee on your empty skull. Oh my God, he looks tough. And they're out there asking him the stupidest questions, and they're pissing this man off. Somebody had a question about the Haitians and getting out of Springfield, Ohio, not Illinois. I wanted to show people this.
Haitian business owners in Springfield have been telling us they're losing business.
So many people left.
And it's getting worse.
80% of the community, they already left.
They say many Haitians left town out of fear of deportation after a Supreme Court ruling that allows their temporary protected status to be stripped away. And community leaders are watching another possible consequence.
I do think that it's going to be something that is going to impact our community.
Kara Van Zandt is a longtime Springfield resident and the assistant executive director for the Clark County Land Bank. She says they've been working to renovate or remove abandoned properties already made worse by the housing crisis.
Wait a second. Wait, stop the presses. That's the kind of stuff that makes me drool. You got a bunch of abandoned properties? you got some houses you need to get rid of, fixed up? Oh boy. I didn't need to see that. Let's pack up the trucks and go figure out what we're going to be doing in Springfield, Ohio. By the way, those people are screaming about affordable housing. Yeah, guess what? There's going to be a bunch of houses in Springfield, Ohio, but I don't want to live in Springfield, Ohio. And I don't want to live in a place that looks like that. Too tough poopy. Get your butts to Springfield, Ohio, and help with these houses. And guess what? You're going to have some affordable housing. And by the way, you're seeing in real time, at least the people in Springfield, the immutable laws of supply and demand. Something that the socialists can never, ever understand. The immutable laws of supply and demand. Hey, guess what? 80% of the community just left. They're gone. Means 80% of the people there who were living in houses and apartments, they're empty. What do you mean they're empty? Well, they look like
With
this.
vacant lots, I know that we have tax foreclosed properties, which is a number that we use quite often. That means that they are officially been left.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, got to make a note. It's money time. Oh, it is money time. Right now, there should be a land rush in Springfield, Ohio, but there will be a land rush in a town near you real soon too. The more Tom Homan and the boys get to work, all of a sudden you can't be worried about affordable housing. None of these socialists seem to talk about that. We don't have an affordable housing problem. We have a supply and demand problem. How do you make the housing cheaper? Because everyone keeps saying you got to find a way to make the housing cheaper. Oh, that's easy. Raise the supply. How do we raise the supply? Get the people who are there, who aren't supposed to be there, the hell out, and now you got a whole bunch more supply. Wow, that's simple, wasn't it? Now we got all kinds of empty property up here. We don't even know what to do with all this.
So that abandoned category is checked. We have about 500 parcels in Clark County, primarily in the city of Springfield.
Now there's
I'm gone. 500 properties in Springfield, Ohio alone. Let me see if I can pause this in time so you guys can see.
That if more Haitian
500 properties. Look at them. There's so many of them. They had a board. We call that an extravaganza. We call that a lottery. I call that like. You smell that? It smells like money. It smells like all kinds of money. I had a friend of mine who was a contractor in South Carolina who made 7 figures when Hurricane Hugo hit in South Florida. Everybody else wanted, what the heck happened here? Everybody else wanted to avoid South Florida like the plague because of the hurricane. He decided what he was going to do is come down here and renovate all the houses. Well, look at Springfield, Ohio right now. Look at that. Landscapers, money. Doors and windows, money. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Period of time, even more houses can sit empty, adding to the neighborhoods they've already been helping to recover from blight. And that recovery comes at a cost.
Just a basic site of this nature is going to be a couple $1 million, from beginning to end.
In that recent presentation to City Council, the group says they're getting money from the state, have finished several projects, and will focus on the city's west side next.
If we didn't have those funds coming down from the state, we would be stuck with all of these brownfields and blight.
Leaders say you can expect to see more renovation work happening over the next year, but they...
So the lady or man who said something about people like leaving Springfield, look what's happening. I don't mean, yeah, I do mean, I'm sorry. I have to gloat. I have to gloat because we're seeing in real time what I've been saying for quite some time. I've told you to listen to Mick Jagger. You may not get what you want, but you can get what you need. Springfield, Ohio, it should be a gold rush. Should be a veritable gold rush right now. I don't know what the job situations are in Springfield, Ohio, but the Haitians had them. Because if there's openings in real estate, there's probably openings in the job market. If 80% of the population, imagine where you live right now, if 80% of the population went and just left, all the houses, the apartments, the jobs, it should be a veritable gold rush. Why isn't anyone talking about this? Why aren't the DSA people saying, hey, let's pack up and go to Springfield. There's something going on out there. Ask yourself that. Why nobody is talking about it. See, this was a local television station. This never even hit the networks. Not even Fox. Not even any podcasters who I try to explain to you about supply and demand and prosperity all the time. People get pissed at me. And I just wanted you to see this because every single one of you, your spidey senses should have went, oh, what am I looking at here? You're looking at money. Now, I know you just probably can't pick up and go to Springfield, Ohio, but if Tom Homan keeps doing his job and President Trump keeps doing his job, then what's it going to be like in towns near you? You know, if there's been a little harboring or nesting of some of these people, imagine what's going to happen when they start scattering from where you are. The same thing, boarded up properties, banks going through foreclosures, cities having to do things to try and fix the stuff up so there's not a blight on a community. Why is there a blight on a community? Well, 80% of their tax base just went, gone. Nobody talks about this stuff. It drives me crazy. I can't even tell you how many houses Robin and I renovated simply not because of immigration, but because of blight in certain neighborhoods. And these houses go to hell quickly. Well, hope you've never been in a situation, but it's amazing how fast nature will take over a house. Of course, in this time of year, the lawn's going to keep rising. And once the lawn rises, then the little vermin start running around. Once the little vermin run around, the bigger vermin want to eat the little vermin, and they're all up in there too. And then you get the drug zombies who move up into the house, and they're doing all kinds of stuff in the house, and it just compounds. One of the ways we made most of our money in terms of property is we had the mailman be feeding us leads. And all I said to him is, if you get to a house and you see the grass is like knee level, call me. And if it's vacant and the grass is at knee level, call me. And then also look at the mail. The person delivering the mail is going to know if there's a lot of past due, late notices from the bank, notices from the city. Are they posting stuff on the door? You got coded because your grass is too high. Call me. That's what you guys can be looking for. That's what a prudent person is. We used to call it driving for dollars. Drive around, hold up, stop. Money. Look at that. Robin used to laugh at me. We're just driving like, whoa, stop. What? Money. Look at the grass. Look at the windows, all the broken out kids in the neighborhood doing what kids do, breaking all the windows. Somebody left it. And a lot of times people ask me about real estate. I didn't mean to make this a real estate show, but a lot of people just ask me, how do you find stuff? You look. If you know what you're looking for, that's the biggest thing right there. And you get there before other people. I can tell you right now, with this going out and other people seeing this newscast, you're going to get other guys like me. The sharks are coming. This is the blood in the water. And people are like, oh, are you serious? Wow.
There's still more work to do as many Haitians move out.
It's very bad for us.
Sheena Elzy joins me now from Springfield, Ohio. And Sheena, great reporting. It sounds like Springfield's been wrestling with this for a while, though. This didn't happen overnight. Were Haitian immigrants originally seen as part of the solution to this vacancy problem?
Well, the evidence certainly suggests that. After talking with some Haitian families, I found out many of them were living in rental houses that were once vacant before. And a lot of the Haitian business owners are also in strip malls that used to be abandoned or vacant before. But now...
Next time any Democrat you work with in the family, talk about affordable housing, centerness. Please just excuse me, watch this and shut the F up. That's all you got to say to them. You got to go where the opportunities exist. You can't sit there and go, I want a house by the beach. You can't afford it. I had a guy yesterday went back and forth with me. I'm not going to name any names, but he's like, Barry, people fall on bad times. And this happens and the other thing happens in the end. And I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Not when it stares you in the face. This woman is standing on a street somewhere in Springfield, Ohio, and it looks like, I don't know, something out of Contagion. There's nobody out. There's nobody there. It's empty. And like the same thing with the strip malls. Oh my gosh. Why are the strip malls empty? Because there's no people. There's nobody. Why would you have a business when there's no people? Wow. Just.
So now walking through the streets of Springfield, how visible are the changes? And do we know where these Haitian families are going to?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you can see on the streets here is sometimes we've seen a lot of people, more people actually walking around because a lot of the Haitian immigrants, they don't have their driver's license and can't get one at this point. So we've seen more people walking around with nowhere to go. Some of the Haitian families tell...
Oh, you got someplace to go. Stop it right now. They definitely have someplace to go. It's like 90 miles off the coast of Florida. Hey, just go. Go. What do you mean you ain't got no place to go? You definitely got someplace to go.
That they can't go back to Haiti because of the violence and the gangs there. They're worried about their families being killed or kidnapped. So they're going to other states or staying in town with nowhere to go and ending up homeless. And another problem that comes with that is the example right here. I want to walk you over here and I want you to look up right at that sign there. That sign is a sign of a former homeless shelter. So this vacant building used to be a homeless shelter.
Hold on. The homeless shelter is homeless? I mean, the homeless shelter can't even stay open? How bad is the city? The people got to leave their houses and now they're homeless, but they can't even go to the homeless shelter because the homeless shelter is boarded up. Good gosh.
But now there's even fewer options for the people Haitian community, in the Haitian community or anywhere in town to go if they are left homeless. Now, the mayor, in a recent meeting, the mayor did say they are working with other nonprofits to try and open up more places for people to go, but it's still a big issue here in town.
How are daily services being impacted if 80% of the population is gone? What happens to local businesses and schools and public transit?
Yeah, well, a lot of the Haitian immigrants were working manufacturing jobs. Some of them I talked to were working at warehouses.
Wait. 80% of the population up and left. They were working manufacturing jobs. You want to fill in the rest? You want to fill in the blanks here? The manufacturing plants, 80% of the people are gone. Ergo. So there's free houses, not free, but there's empty houses, empty homeless shelters for the people who can't fit into the empty houses. And now the manufacturing plants don't have 80% of their employees. I'm gonna have to go to this town. I might have to rename this town like Berryville or something, because damn. Oh boy.
It's like Amazon warehouses and things of that nature. And as far as the businesses go, a lot of the Haitian-owned businesses, at least, say they're seeing less of it and they're struggling trying to keep up, but they tell me they're going to stay in town until they're forced out.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me just say this. I don't want anybody pissed off at me. I'm not laughing at anybody's misfortune. I hope they find shelter. I hope they find food. I'm sure they're going to find food. They're not going to go hungry. But you're telling me 80% of this town just left. Some of them went home. The rest of them, we don't really care where you went. Just get the hell out of here. So you got 80% of the population of one town is gone. So I got two questions. What the hell was the population of Springfield, Ohio before the Haitian invasion? Was it 80% empty and that's why they brought them in? Because I didn't see anything in the paper or any sort of videos that was telling the rest of us, hey, listen, we need help in Springfield. Send us your Haitians. I didn't see that announcement. Just like you don't see right now anybody announcing, we got 500 vacant parcels here. We don't even know what to do. We got so much affordable housing. Oh, by the way, Jim's plant over here, they got a whole bunch of jobs. You would think that there'd be a whole different kind of movement going on right now in the DSA circles, telling people you need a home, you need some affordable housing. Why not try Springfield? Even the ducks are coming back. The ducks and the geese are coming back to Springfield, and they're all like, come back to Jamaica, come back to Springfield, man. Nobody's eating the ducks and the cats and the dogs. Although right now they should be eating something else, probably some snakes and lizards, because boy. And I'm making light of this whole situation because the only thing I can do is make light of it because it's sad. It's sad that town leaders can't find a way to show people the opportunity in their town. I just watched a 4-minute video of the news. 4 minutes. And I already know, just from looking at that, just from the information in 4 minutes, all the different opportunities that exist in Springfield, Ohio. Every single one of you right now who have said to me or have texted me or emailed me, there's no opportunity, I wish I could, I went. You sure about that? You sure there's no opportunities? You sure there's no affordable housing? You sure? Well, I don't live in Springfield, Ohio. So, what if you knew how to call up whoever owns these properties or research these properties and say, I see the property at one time sold for 120. Right now, I know you need a buyer. I know you need a buyer really effing bad. I'll buy the block. Give me the whole damn block. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding at all. I'm seeing desperation. I'm seeing red flag after red flag. I'm seeing these people are in trouble. They're the code word of distressed. people like me who look for, quote, distressed properties. We look for people who have, passed on. People are going through divorce. People who have lost their job. They call that distressed properties, and you have to sift through so many to find them. And you're telling me there's a whole town, there's 80%. Somebody is going to make a boatload of money. And people get mad and say we're taking advantage of the situation. I didn't create it. You didn't create it. Even the people doing the newscast, they didn't create the problem, but you damn sure can take advantage of it to your advantage because it's just sitting there. Somebody is going to make a deal. Just saying. I have seen stuff like that before. That's just it. Ready to go to Springfield? Hold on. I turned off your mic again. That's my fault. I know. I turned it off because you were doing something, and I was like, oh, it asked me to go to the bathroom, or I could hear you flushing or something. There you are. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Oh my goodness! Just in, the geese, dogs, and cats have marked themselves safe from getting yeeted by Haitians.
Oh my gosh. It's insane. Just remember this one clip in this one area of one city in America, and next time somebody tells you there's no affordable housing, I'm gonna have to look up on Zillow for tomorrow's show. I'm gonna look up on Zillow the housing in Springfield, Ohio, just so I can show people. Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
Let's rename it Barry Raton.
Barry Raton. Yes, we can do that. Barry Raton. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, I got a couple stories. Pick and choose there. A couple cuts.
Where are you? Let me go see where. Okay, I saw the Mark Wayne Mullen thing. Okay, what's this? This is Ken Paxton or something.
Yeah, so that's showing that he's raised $10 million in Texas, catching up to Rico, the crazy dude down there who gets dark money from ActBlue. Despite tens of millions being shoveled against him, Paxton has nearly 60% odds of winning per Poly Market. Texas is red. So, as we know, pro-transformer for kids, anti-borders, Tellerico is a psycho leftist and a joke. There is no way Texas voters elect that buffoon.
I don't know how he's even in the race, to tell you the truth. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Then you've got
next story, Nancy Mace. So this is good news. Sorry, Nancy.
I haven't even seen it and I'm laughing already. Go ahead. What do you got?
She just announced she will not run for South Carolina's open Senate seat, saying her current fight in Congress matters right now. Her decision leaves the GOP race to replace the late Senator Lindsey Graham with his sister, Darlene Graham, seeking a full term after being appointed to the seat. So, bye, Nancy Alicia.
Wait. What fight in Congress does she have? She's done, isn't she?
Remember now, isn't she like putting the chains in the bathroom signs or something? I don't know.
But
in Congress,
but I mean,
she was attacked by a transformer.
She's done in November. Isn't she? I mean, she tried to run for governor. She got spanked in the governor's race. She
horrible.
It's funny. Ashley and I have looked at people we've had on the show before, and we just sit there and go, what happened? What happened? You want to bring that person back? No, don't want to talk to them anymore. It's like a complete roster of people who went bat poop crazy.
Like the honest dude, that Mr. Honest Pollster. He had to change his name because his clicks and money dried up. Then this one I thought was interesting, so I sent you breaking. President Trump imposes a 50% tariff on a range of Canadian goods, claiming unfair treatment over U.S. autos, alcohol, and cheese, and the smoke poisoning. I'll add that one on there. He told him he was going to do it.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. That's too much. That is way too much. You got one more here.
The next one is clandestine. Yeah, this one might be a minute or two read.
All right, what's he got to say? Go ahead.
All right, so he says, it drives me crazy when people call me optimistic. It's not optimism, it's certainty. These people don't seem to get it. The decision has already been made. There is no scenario in which we cede control to our adversaries again. Trump and the U.S. mill are attempting to do it the clean way.
Wait. Can I stop you?
Sure.
Again.
It's your show.
I'm reading what you say, and I'm like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. He doesn't have a crystal ball. He sees the same board that I see and other people see going, these people can't win. There's no way they can win. They can try to make up fake polls. They can try to do that, but you can tell there's no ammo. They've got nothing left. And so, well, let's finish with what he said, but keep that in the back of your mind. That's why they're bringing all these DSA people in, because they're like, hey, stir some stuff up or something, because
it's not only that, but when you bring in Ashley Webb, some dude who's trying to be a woman who's menstruates out of his butthole, and no one says anything. Seriously, people, shows how crazy people are. You'll never win that way. Anyway, let me cut back to this thing. Trump and the U.S. mill are attempting to do it the clean way, but they are fully prepared to do it the messy way if need be. The process is already underway. The U.S. mill already have all the goods on election fraud, along with everything else. And what we are witnessing is a carefully orchestrated timeline to show the American people what happened, as well as prepare them for what must happen in the future. Trump and the U.S. mill
I got to stop you again there. That's what I've been telling you guys. I've been saying it over to prepare people for what must happen in the future. That's not just what the government has to do. That's what you guys have to do as well. You got to get prepared because it's going to get crazy. Yeah. All right. Continue.
Lock and load, Patriots. Trump and the U.S. mill are already fully pot committed. Push those chips in. They are all in. There's no turning back now. It must be done, and so it shall. This guy's great. I just love his work. It's just, I'm like playing a slot machine. Keep refreshing the screen. Come on, man, post
I mean, he knows what he's talking about, but it's nothing that you couldn't write yourself right now. If you're looking at the board in front of you and you've been looking at it with clarity, you can see the moves being made. I mean, they're right in front of you at this point. So it's all coming out. It's every single bit of it's coming out. Man.
I have one last thing. It just came in. Cut 9. It's actually from Pennsylvania. Remember, Scott Pressler was working on getting the non-citizens, the legal vote. He wanted the whole non-juror list. So 11 minutes ago. So apparently, facing threat of a lawsuit, Democrat Chester County, Pennsylvania, just caved to Scott Pressler and will give him the full list that will expose how many non-citizens or illegal aliens might be voting. He says they are going to give us the complete non-juror list.
Wow.
There you go. So this guy's busting some ass too. I mean, I'm really impressed by him. He says if we, I saw he posted earlier, if we ever get the Save America Act passed, he's going to cut his hair. He said.
And it's funny how many people in the so-called establishment, they don't like him. They don't like him at all because he's doing the work to take them out. So. Yeah,
it's like Nick Shirley. He's like, he's just creating a lot of havoc. I hope he has good security. I mean, some nut job might come up to him. Like, just.
And what's really weird? What's really weird in terms of them attacking him? He's everything that they stand for. And so it's very weird. If you guys don't know, he's gay, but Scott is.
Kind of like Besant, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's kind of hard.
And he had a threat on his life.
Yeah. Actually, an attempt. Yeah. More than a threat. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right, SB, I'll be back to you in a little bit. All right. Hey, this is a paid advertisement for Rumble Wallet. Quick question. How much control do you have over your money right now? Technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream. Faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen. This isn't hype. It's just where things are going. And getting started today is easier than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin. You can hold dollar-backed stable coins in one place. It's a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means you, not a bank or a platform, control access to your funds. Setup is simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, your debit card, or a bank account and be up and running literally in minutes. And for a limited time, you can start your wallet with $10 in US stablecoin that they're going to give you by downloading the Rumble Wallet and entering my exclusive promo code Barry10 when you sign up now. You can even use your Rumble Wallet to support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description or go to, wallet.rumble.com/Barry and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, enter your promo code Barry10 and get your $10 in free US stablecoin. This is a limited time offer, so act now. Take control of your money. Get started with Rumble Wallet today. Terms and conditions do, however, apply. See the description below or visit rumble.com. Promo official rules for details. Rumble.com, promo official rules for details.
The Department of Homeland Security is cracking down on fraud in the commercial driver's license system, targeting activity at CDL truck driving schools. It comes after a series of deadly semi-truck crashes, including one that killed a Colorado man. His widow is now praising the move. Natalie Chuck has that story. Natalie.
Hi, John. Thousands of unqualified trucking schools have already been taken off the federal registry, but Homeland Security and the Department of Transportation are working to do even more. The two federal agencies are announcing a collaboration to enforce rules and regulations at trucking schools all across the country. These photos right here show investigators looking into roughly 75 entry-level driving schools that the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration suspects have committed fraud. The accusations include using improper driving certifications, falsifying records, and failing to properly train those drivers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the department has taken more than 24,000 drivers who could not speak English off the roads, forced states to cancel more than 28,000 licenses issued illegally, and gotten more than 9,500 unqualified training schools off of that federal registry. The Trump administration is making this a top priority after seeing deadly ramifications all over the nation. This crash here happened 2 years ago in Colorado when a semi-truck rolled over, spilling pipes and iron onto the highway and nearby cars. One man, 64-year-old Scott Miller, was killed. Now, the truck driver, Ignacio Cruz Mendoza, was an illegal immigrant from Mexico who had a final order of removal and no CDL at the time of the crash. He served 1 year in prison and was deported shortly after his release. Scott Miller's wife tells us ramping up enforcement by the federal government is long overdue.
It can take 6 months to get a CDL driver's license, maybe a year even, depending on the training that's involved. So where's the fairness in that? And then we just let these people walk into our country and start driving on our roads and killing people. I mean, it's crazy.
And because we're here in Pennsylvania, where State Trooper Michael Farrow was killed just 2 weeks ago by an illegal alien operating a semi-truck on a commercial driver's license, which he should never have had. He was here illegally, came in through Biden. Today I'm making one more important announcement. My administration will soon take historic action to get illegal alien truck drivers who are just killing a lot of people. They can't read signs. Many of them are on drugs or alcohol, and they shouldn't be driving these things, and they came in totally illegally, and we don't want them, but they are driving all over American roadways, and we're going to replace them with proud American veterans. We're going to take our veterans, we're going to teach them a lot about driving trucks, and in many cases they know. We're going to say any American who's driven a heavy truck for our military will automatically be eligible for a commercial driver's license. So we're going to get them taken care of.
Everybody, I've got a great interview for you today with all the madness around the CDL licenses and what we're hearing with the truckers and the accidents and everything. I've got Shannon Everett here today. He is the leader of American Truckers. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us, Barry.
All right. So tell me a little bit about how or what American Truckers is and how it got started.
Yeah, so American Truckers United is an advocacy group that's made up of American-owned, privately held trucking companies. So these are companies. We've got members that have been in business for over 100 years. Most of them have been in business 30, 40 years. And so it could be companies that, have one or two trucks, but we have guys that have over 700 trucks. Wow. Actually, one guy has over 1,000 trucks. And so it's a group of industry professionals that are very connected in the industry and have a deep industry knowledge of what our industry used to look like, what it should look like, and how we got here today. So we had to stand up American Truckers United. There's trade associations currently in the trucking industry, but our group was unable to get any of them to stand up and speak out against this illegal alien invasion that we have in the trucking industry. And so we had to start our own organization to focus specifically on illegal immigration. So that's been our core focus from our founding. Hopefully that we can solve this issue, and we'll start to get into all of the other issues that everyone cares about. But right now, illegal immigration takes up 90% of all of our time.
So why is that? I mean, it seems to be such an elementary question, whether it's a union or whatever kind of association. Protecting the members should be first and foremost. Why has it been such a problem to see this kind of representation against the illegal immigration?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one of the things that we've noticed as we've been working on this issue is this is a very, we think that safety and national security is a nonpartisan issue. Everybody should agree that having people who aren't vetted, who haven't been properly trained and haven't been qualified should not be operating 80,000-pound vehicles next to your family or my family. I think everyone should agree that people when we don't know their driving history, when we haven't run background checks on them, we don't know their loyalty to our country, that they shouldn't have access to sensitive cargo like military shipments. They shouldn't have access to shipments of ammonium nitrate or shipments of gasoline or anything that's highly explosive or flammable or dangerous that could pose a serious threat to a large group of people. And so what we found was that in around 2021, we had this flux of all of these drivers that came into our industry where the standards were reduced in a way to allow for just a maximum amount of number of drivers to enter into the industry without any, due diligence on that vetting that I was talking about, or even on the qualification and training that I was talking about. And so, through our advocacy and our pushback against that, we found that somehow in our industry trade associations, we've got this partisan divide where a lot of the leadership believes in these open borders policies, more so than they believe in safety and security.
My brother-in-law is a trucker, or actually he was until he retired. He was in auto transport. So he would drive the trucks that bring cars to dealerships and things of that nature. Who's hiring these people? I mean, is it individual companies like a Walmart or a grocery chain, or are they independent truckers who are just picking jobs that come available off of a website?
I'm glad you brought up the car haulers, because I think that's an important group involved in this conversation. So my background is inbound automotive logistics. So I didn't haul the cars. We hauled the parts. And so our trucks would go into all of the factories making the cars, and we'd have truckloads of gas tanks. We have truckloads of seats, and then they'd build the cars. And then your brother and his team, of course, they would take those finished vehicles to the dealerships. And all of those finished vehicle car hauler guys historically have been protected by trade unions. And so all of those car haulers, one of them, for example, that was very large was Jack Cooper. They had union drivers drivers, and rightfully so, because that's a very niche type of hauling, similar to like LTL's a niche thing, and most of those guys are unionized. But even the union members, even the guys in that classification, are not protected from what's been happening. And that's evident by Jack Cooper is no longer. They've had to shut down. What they didn't realize at the time was that all of the pressure that was coming against them was coming through third-party brokerage systems using owner-operator and independent contractors who are using these illegal aliens. So what we have found is that all of these illegal aliens have come into mostly sanctuary states. There are some red states, like a lot of them are in Florida, a lot of them are in Texas, but they've come into these specific states, about 10 different states, and they work for motor carriers out of those states. But here's the thing: when you get a CDL, you're not restricted to only work at. If you get a California CDL, you don't just work in California. That CDL gives you access to the entire country because of reciprocity between states. And so these drivers are then exported out of California to every state across the union. And so even though I'm in Arkansas, and Arkansas laws don't allow for a bunch of illegal aliens to get CDLs, and I think in my little fish tank here that I'm okay, you're not. You're not, because what California's doing affects your career, your job, and your business.
But
these guys,
who's hiring them? Is it, like I said, is it the corporations, or are they all mostly independent truckers that are just taking jobs?
So they operate in Nest. And so in all of these states that are issuing the licenses, they're also allowing them to start LLCs and S corporations, mostly all LLCs. So they're going, and the FMCSA and the USDOT are giving operating authorities. So they're starting all these new trucking companies. In fact, this might shock you, but so 25 years in the business, I have never had a truck driver with a non-domiciled CDL apply for a job or work for me. In fact, prior to us finding these illegal alien CDLs, our group was the ones who uncovered the fraud and found these CDLs. Prior to us finding legislation in the state of Arkansas in the fall of 2024, where that large trucking association that I was talking about earlier was actually trying to pass laws in the state of Arkansas so that these guys could operate on Arkansas highways. Prior to that day, I'd never even heard the words non-domicile CDL. Most of your listeners probably haven't heard of what is a non-domicile CDL. But that is the specific credential that they're giving those illegal aliens.
Now, whose trucks are they? Are they getting loans and money to actually buy the trucks, or are people owning the trucks and hiring them to work?
So they're it's a very coordinated thing that they're doing. I think there's people in their groups that are organized enough to start their own company and then hire all of these guys to work for them. And so you're seeing, in the greatest freight recession or trucking recession that the industry has ever seen, which ran from 2022 to 2026. You saw these guys in these states, California trucking companies, Illinois trucking companies, Florida trucking companies, where guys were growing from 50 trucks to 500 trucks.
Wow.
When American trucking companies were going from 500 trucks to bankrupt.
Wow. How is that possible? Yeah, I mean, so it's a lot of weird money coming in. Probably a lot of money from outside sources coming into these companies.
So a lot of the dealerships tell us the trucks have been paid for with cash, which is insane, because you're talking about walking in and you're buying a truck for $180,000. So a lot of these guys are buying in cash, but also, these truck manufacturers want to sell trucks. And so, don't ask, don't tell, so they've been financing a lot of these purchases. And there's two specific trucks that most of these drivers drive. And I think that tells a lot too. Most of these non-domiciled truck drivers you see in a Freightliner or a Volvo.
Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting. And is it that easy? I mean, I would think with interstate trade and driving cross country, I understand the license thing, but is it that easy to just go ahead and license a truck as well?
Yeah, there's no immigration validation or checks when you license a truck. Nobody's checking to see your immigration status, especially in those sanctuary states. And then as far as them being able to travel across the United States undetected, most people are unaware that your state law enforcement that's responsible for enforcement on commercial motor vehicles are not allowed to ask immigration questions.
Oh my
and
gosh.
So in the state of Arkansas, we have the Arkansas State Police and we have the Arkansas Highway Police. We have two different state police agencies. One's responsible for personal vehicles and one's responsible for commercial motor vehicle enforcement. Neither of those agencies were able to, when you hand them a CDL, so if you hand them a California CDL, they're supposed to just assume that you're in the country legally and that California is only issuing CDLs to legal citizens. So they're not allowed. They don't have any immigration authority because that's a federal law, not a state law. And these are state officers. Wow. And so we found that intriguing when we first got to working on this. It's like, well, no wonder they're not getting detected because there are no federal law enforcement officers pulling over trucks that would have that kind of authority.
A lot of people up north may not know about this. When I lived in Connecticut, I had no idea. I moved out here into Florida, and as you're traveling through the South, you see weigh stations. Do the weigh stations have the ability to check people out?
So those weigh stations are state law enforcement officers with zero immigration authority. Okay. And so one of the things that we've been shouting from the mountaintops is we need to deputize officers in the weigh stations with the ability to inspect immigration paperwork. And so the president has heard that call. You've now seen that Tom Homan, the administration, is now talking about these weigh stations. That really came out of our efforts in Oklahoma. So there's been a ton of grace on our movement out of the state of Oklahoma, and that's because ICE, a federal agency, partnered with Oklahoma DPS, the state agency, to enforce immigration laws on truck drivers through that Oklahoma state agency. When they did that, this was September of 25 was the first operation. It was called Operation Guardian. And so they pulled over 500 trucks at a weigh station in the western port of Oklahoma on Interstate 40. Of the 500, 125 of those truck drivers were illegal aliens.
Wow.
They had, so that's 20%.
Yeah.
They had in their possession at the time of the operation, all of those drivers had U.S. CDLs.
Oh my goodness.
So they had CDLs from California, from New York, from Illinois, from all kinds of different states across the country. And then their backgrounds, this wasn't, Hispanic, or this wasn't just Indian. It was all kinds of different backgrounds. You had people from Serbia, Uzbekistan, all kinds of different stands over there in the Middle East. And it really shocked the officers involved when they started going through and seeing how kind of organized the whole operation was. A lot of the different companies had a lot of the same kind of paperwork. And so, that was kind of the beginning of the concern for the administration when it was validated for the first time that, hey, not only are they illegal, but they have U.S. CDLs, and some of those CDLs are real IDs.
Now, why is this? Is there a shortage of drivers that has allowed these people to come in and basically invade the workforce? How did this happen?
No, there is not a shortage of truck drivers. There's a shortage of pay and respect in the industry that has pushed American truck drivers out of the business. Wow. They still have their CDLs, but they choose not to drive a truck because they can't compete with third world slaves that are willing to do it for half or less of what they do it for. Oh, okay. And so when people say there's a shortage, well, there's a shortage of people willing to work for slave wages, and so you're forcing them to compete with people that are willing to, live in their truck. And, I've got to actually have a slide that kind of shows. Let me see if I can. You mind if I show something on the screen?
No, go ahead.
All right. We actually
go ahead. Let me see. When it shows up, go ahead.
When we first started working on this project, You see that there?
Yep.
We first started work on this project back in 2024. We tried to identify the states that they were operating from and the countries that most of the truck drivers in those states had migrated from. And you can see that we put a little chart up there that showed the prevailing wage of the country that they were migrating from, and then the average wage of an American truck driver. Most of these truck drivers that came in were used to working for, less than 20% of what an American truck driver would work for. And that's that blue chart there in the middle on the right. And so what that means is as they come, the more and more of them would come, the more and more of the American truck driver either agrees to reduce his wages to match that, or he just gets out of the industry. And so that's what we saw. We saw a ton of American truck drivers forced out of the industry and replaced with this cheaper, more dangerous alternative because they were rushed in. And so, no, there is no driver shortage. This is a great replacement that was run in our industry, and it was run by these publicly traded companies that were looking to, squeeze out as much profit as they can while betraying the American people.
Now, President Trump announced with Sean Duffy that they're going to allow veterans to begin driving the trucks as a solid way to provide for their families. But how is that going to affect if, you said that the main bulk of people that they're replacing is because they're doing it cheaper. Are we going to expect the veterans to get into the same situation where they're going to be undercut?
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you cut off the flow of all of the cheap labor, the veterans look, they don't want to be slaves either. They don't want to come into an industry where they're asked to sacrifice time with their family, sacrifice time with their community, be out on the road and gone all the time, and do that for less than they can make working at a job in their own town where they're home every night and they're able to serve at their church and they're able to go to their son's ball game. And so it's laughable to think that we can have one without the other. So we admire the Trump administration. They've got our backs. They've been fighting for us tooth and nail ever since we started, advocating for a change in the industry. They are the champions. The pushback is coming from the industry, and it's coming from the federal agencies responsible for regulating the trucking industry. As much as the Trump administration wants to change, he continues to find these forces pushing back against him at the federal and the state level and at the industry level. And so, our message to President Trump is, you can send us veterans. They will not stay until the problem is fixed. And that is, you have to cut off these non-domiciled CDLs. You have to revoke the ones that have been issued. You have to make sure they can't issue anymore. And as soon as you do that, then you get your industry back to the standards that we had before, which was, proper qualification, proper training, proper vetting. And you'll return the industry to safety. And through that, the standards for the drivers will rise, the pay for the drivers will rise, and you won't have to beg anybody to come to the industry. People will be flocking to trucking because you can make a good living doing it. It's a good industry to be in when it's got the proper pay scale.
Oh yeah, my brother-in-law made a lot of money. I mean, he used to tell me how he would just turn down some jobs because he was making so much money. But one of the questions is, we have a do-nothing Congress, we have a do-nothing Senate, we have the midterms coming up. What's the likelihood of I don't know how connected you are or pushing inside of the White House and Congress. How are we going to fix it without both parties actually wanting to do something about this?
That's a challenge. I just got back from DC. I was in DC all week last week, and that same association that was responsible for getting these drivers here is telling our leadership in the Senate and the House that their priority is surface reauthorization and is not Delilah's law. We have a law right now that's already came out of committee in the House and is waiting on a floor vote that requires all of these non-domiciled CDL drivers to have a specific work visa. They can't have work authorization documents. It also requires them to get all of their credentials recertified under the new standard, which means they're all going to get revoked because they can't meet the standards.
Right.
We know they came in illegally. And so that has to be the priority for the trucking industry until we get that fixed. I don't care that we have more truck parking. We don't care that we have more restroom access. All of that is going to go to all of these illegal aliens if you don't protect the American truck driver workforce. And Delilah's Law does that. It's a priority of the Trump administration. He stood up in the State of the Union address and he challenged Congress to go past Delilah's Law. So this battle that we've got with Delilah's Law right now is second only to the Save America Act. Yeah. We need to pass the Save America Act and protect our elections. And we need to pass Delilah's Law and protect our American trucking industry.
You obviously mentioned Delilah's Law. For people who don't know what that is, can you explain what it actually is?
A little girl named Delilah Coleman was hit and injured in 2024 by an illegal alien truck driver who fled to India and has since come back. And so Trump invited her up to the State of the Union to really kind of show the country the impact that it's having on American families. Thank God Delilah survived her crash, but she's got a lifelong challenge of hospital visits and treatments that she's got to undergo because of this. And so the Delilah Law was written so that truck drivers not from the United States that want to work, we're not against immigration. We're against illegal immigration. Mm-hmm. So if you come into the country legally and you obtain a legal work visa, there's like 3 or 4 that are specifically prescribed in Delilah's Law as applicable to the trucking industry, then you're welcome to come in the trucking industry. But if you come over here illegally and you don't have proper documentation and valid work visas, then you can't drive a truck in the United States. And that's a reasonable expectation. I think everybody thought that's already what was taking place.
Yeah, it's like, duh. How can you even disagree with that? It makes absolutely no sense that you would be meeting resistance except between our lawmakers up there who just can't get their crap together. It's crazy. So talk to me about this whole thing with this new explosive diarrhea stuff and everything. Is that because they're bringing the produce in from other countries? And if we weren't doing that, and if we were buying American produce, would that solve anything?
I think this whole globalism idea is just failing on its face. Absolutely. We need to be buying all of our produce here from one of the greatest things about our country is our agriculture industry. And we need to be just like our trucking industry. We need to be doing everything we can to spend with our American farmers, to spend with our American truckers so that, these critical key industries that take care of America and make America great are sound and are healthy and protect, the integrity of our food supply, the integrity of our national security. The idea that we're buying all of this produce, this key item for the success of our American families from Mexico, I think is outrageous in itself. We've got farmers that can do it here. If they're struggling today and people aren't getting into farming, maybe it's because we're buying our produce from other places. And I would imagine the situation that I've dealt with here in the industry with all of this cheap labor coming in, pushing down our ability to increase our prices and pay our drivers well is the same thing that's happening to American farmers. They're being forced to compete with these Mexico farms who are probably also using these indentured servants. And of course, the Mexican farm wins the bid. The lettuce bid from down there beats out the lettuce bid from, I'm not sure where the states here that make it, but I'm sure that if they're making it in the U.S., they're following better health standards and safety standards and trucking standards that get us our produce cleaner and safer. And we need to focus on that. So absolutely.
It's almost as if it's almost as if that diarrhea outbreak is the least of our concerns. Who knows what they could be putting into food if they wanted to, compromise and do something here. Now, I've seen you on a number of shows. You're getting a ton of press. The light is being shown on this industry like I've never seen it before. Like you said, most of us would just assume they're Americans driving this truck. You're still up against a huge hurdle to get this fixed. What can we do as individuals? I understand you're out there fighting a good fight and you're bringing knowledge, but is there anything that you can impart upon the people watching? What can we do to help you?
Ever since we got started on this in 2024, one of the things that we've learned is this only has been allowed to exist is because it wasn't talked about and no one knew about it. When you have an open, honest conversation about this, it is nonpartisan. It's not right. It's not left. It's right and wrong. And the right thing to do for your family and for my family and for our country is to make sure that we've got vetted, safe truck drivers on America's highways. Right. And so the most important thing that your followers and your listeners can be doing is following us, reposting, amplifying this message, continue to make it loud, and demand that they pass Delilah's law, that demand that they enforce immigration laws in our way stations, and they return, safety and integrity to our highways.
In addition to being a spokesperson, are you actively on the road yourself right now? I mean, not right now, but are you driving?
I spend all of my time advocating for the industry, so I represent our organization, American Truckers United. I also own a small fleet of trucks, but I am a licensed CDL driver, and so you'll see me driving from time to time, but not as often as I like.
The other day, Robin's my wife. Robin and I went out to dinner, and we had to stop at a light, and a train came by. And we said, we had an interesting conversation. It's like, here it is 2026. And do people realize how important truckers and trains are to our entire economy? And, like I said, my brother-in-law did auto transport. I think a lot of people just take it for granted that the stuff they go and see in a store will always be there. So I applaud what you guys are doing. And I hope to God you can get this thing squared away. Any other message you want to give to anybody before we part here?
This movement, just the fact that our message has been elevated to the point it has really been a move of God and has been a miracle. And one thing that we've learned is as we love on people, God is present. And he's the one that makes the miracles happen. So my message to people too is just love on everybody, stand in the gap for those people that can't speak up for themselves, and that's these crash victims and these truck drivers, and watch God work.
Shannon, thank you so much. And as you can see, that's Shannon's Twitter/X handle right there. So they'll end up following you. So just so you understand, you're going to get an influx of people who are going to hit you up. So thank you very much for your time. We're going to follow it. Every single person who goes to a store, does anything in retail, anything, lumber, building a house, is responsible for the guys that are in this organization. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to Shannon talk about that. Like I said, my brother-in-law, or ex-brother-in-law as it is now, used to drive auto transport. So I knew what a little bit about the trucking industry. Very, very good money for doing that. And now all of a sudden, here's yet another thing that they have injected these people into, which is just problematic, especially in regards to safety. Crazy, absolutely crazy. So I hope you guys follow Shannon, support his organization. They need to help. They need to get more eyeballs on this stuff. So please follow him. Before I bring SV on, I wanted to show you guys something because I told you tomorrow I would go through it. But see, SV, I just hear you already. You got to turn your mic off. But I looked up on Zillow something because somebody actually put in a chat. They didn't see where the 80% of the Haitians left Springfield. That was actually a news report from Springfield that you were watching. So I decided I'm going to look something up. I looked it up, and I can't even believe what I'm seeing here. So I went to Zillow and I put in, show me houses in Springfield. Check this out. Look at that house. It's boarded up. It's got a brick walkway with stairs and everything. Looks like it's 3 stories or 2 stories with an attic. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2,000 square feet, nearly an 8,000 square foot lot for $115,000. Asking $115,000. Are you kidding me? So you're telling me I could probably buy this house for like $100,000, maybe even less, depending how desperate they are? Can you imagine being able to buy that house for $90,000 or $85,000? You could do the math on your mortgage payment and everything else, and then you rent that sucker out for a couple grand a month. Oh my gosh, if there's enough people to support that. I can't even, I don't know if you guys ever look at your price per square foot in your neighborhoods, but $57 for price per square foot, we can't even buy dirt for $57 a square foot. Let's see, let's scroll down here. Is there any more information on it? Where's the information here? I guess that's all the information. It's been on Realtor.com for 3 days. I bet you this thing goes quick. Oh, here are the property details. Here we go. What's it say here? Welcome to 24 Bill Edwards Drive. This large home has a lot of potential. This Craftsman home is located in a prime location on Wittenberg University campus. Oh my goodness, campus housing? You mean to tell me I could put like 6 kids in there and charge them each $500 a month? And it's a great opportunity to house hack. I've told you guys about house hack. This is an agent who knows what the hell they're talking about. Offering large rooms with many original hardwood features throughout. Main level has a large living room, full dining room, has a full bathroom and a kitchen. There are 2 stainless staircases leading to the 2nd floor, which has a 2nd full bathroom and 4 bedrooms. The finished attic has a space that can be used as a bedroom, but can be a great office or storage or studio. Brand new furnace was installed in 2025 on the 2nd floor. There's a full basement as well, which is not finished, but is walkout and offers additional possibilities. This home is being sold at a discount. Now you're talking. When they put that in the listing, that is red. That's chumming the waters. That's red meat. This home is being sold at a discount to accommodate for any final finishes that you want to make to this home. The alley next door has been vacated and is no longer to be used by the public. Let's look at a few pictures here, shall we? Let's see if I click here what happens. All right, so that's picture number 1. There's picture number. It sits on like a little bit of a hill. Needs obviously some landscaping and stuff outside. Driveways all just kind of, when you look inside, nice ceiling fan, wood floors, windows. There's a stairway going up to the 2nd floor. This is like perfect campus housing. I don't know where Wittenberg University is, but obviously it's in Springfield. It's got a fireplace. Looks like the fireplace is bricked up. I guess that's the other stairway going upstairs. I'm not sure. This might be an upstairs bedroom or something. And another upstairs bedroom. I guess this is the kitchen. Looks like a ranch. Looks like a ranch. Kind of cool looking there, isn't it? Yeah, that's not horribly. How do the bathrooms look? Okay, here's a bathroom. Not bad, not bad. It looks like it obviously been recently redone. Nice vanity, nice shower. That's bathroom number one, I believe. There's another bedroom, bedroom, and I don't even know what that is. Let's see what we got here. Another bedroom. There's a second bathroom. Got some slate on the wall. Not bad. I'm looking at the door hardware. Door's been updated. 115. Are you kidding me? Okay, here's the damage downstairs. Nothing extensive. You get somebody to come in here and put some drywall up and finish that ceiling. Here, there's a better view of the ceiling that needs to be fixed. Get somebody in there to throw that up and you're good to go. This is downstairs in the basement. I guess if you're going to finish it off or just leave it as is, but you can finish it off. New furnace. Furnace is looking nice and shiny. Big yard. Giant yard, boarded up house. There's a neighborhood. I'm not looking at a whole bunch of garbage and everything, so I don't think the hood rats have been there. You kidding me? 115. Oh, look, there's a university right there. So it's right on the campus. Wow. I don't know if some of you guys might live near Springfield, Ohio, or if you live near Wittenberg campus, but you're probably already on the phone right now. Probably already on the phone. At least I would be. No affordable housing, huh? No affordable housing. $115,000. $115,000. Seriously? Seriously? Please don't at me anymore and tell me there's no affordable housing. I don't want to hear it. I'm done. I was done before. You guys knew that. This is even worse. Now I'm looking at a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2,000 square foot house for 115 grand. Asking. Can't talk to me. I just won't hear that talk anymore. None. It's done. SV, your mic on?
Yeah, I just popped it on.
There you go.
Testing,
That's what you
1, 2,
did.
3. Come in, Houston.
115 for three 1.5.
You had a viewer in here saying, "Oh my gosh, it's in a bad neighborhood." He goes, "I bet it's in a bad neighborhood, or that's going to require a lot of work. It's a crappy house. It's going to cost too much to fix." Negative Nancy's, man. I mean, come on, people. Prosperity.
I'm going to have to get a button. I can't play the song because YouTube would have a problem, but sometimes you get what you need, as Mick Jagger said. My gosh.
Exactly. I want to live down in Florida, one of those $50 million mansions, but I'll never be doing that. I mean, I take some pictures of them.
Bad neighbor. Do you know what kind of neighborhoods I used to live in when I was in college? Oh my gosh. Then again, I was a steroid monkey, so
yeah, I was gonna say you are bouncy. You probably bounced a few people down the street.
We leave our
I
doors
met you,
open.
man. Hey Barry, how you doing, sir?
We had a house on campus that had like 6 bedrooms, and everybody in there. I was one of the smaller guys who lived there. It was crazy. We didn't even lock our doors. Nobody would do anything. If anything got stolen, or it was one of the other guys in the house that ate your food or something. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Wittenberg University, but I'll tell you what, for 115 grand. It's worth like a $400 or $500 plane ticket. Let me just go check this out. By the way, the other thing I would check out is Section 8. Maybe the government will put somebody in there if I fix that up, and then see what they would pay. I would have all that data in advance. I could go on to the Section 8 website and say, how much are you paying for a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath house in Springfield, Ohio? And I'm telling you, quick math off the top of my head, if I bought that house for 100 and I wanted, much to the chagrin of the socialists, if I wanted to make 15%, then that house would have to spin off probably like 18 grand. Well, now we're talking. You're telling me if I could probably get 1,900 a month, then you're making that kind of return. Oh, don't get me started.
When are you going up there?
No,
He headed up.
you don't
Road
think I'm
trip.
gonna look? You don't think I'm gonna look at that?
I know you're going to go.
I mean,
Sure.
it'd be one of those things where I would have JJ, Pastor JJ, lawyer JJ, go ahead and contact over there, put the escrow. Actually, we keep an escrow deposit at his office, and just say I'm going to write a contract to just have him hold it. If it's accepted, then I go. It's just that simple. But Wittenberg is a community college, somebody tells me. Yeah. Somebody goes, get a bunch of nurses in the house. They work 12-hour shifts. Oh,
See?
God.
There you go. Good one, John.
And it's funny because the comment that you read, you count on that. And I count on a lot of people saying, ew, ew. And like I've said before, if Robin walked in someplace and said, ew, I knew that was money. That was definitely money. So, all right, what you got before we get out of here?
I had a few stories. Cuts. I have 4 cuts to you. And by the way, the last one is President Trump. He commented on True Social about the new UK Prime Minister. But I sent that to you as well.
Okay, I got this one. What's this?
All right, so this I thought was interesting. I did not know this. Canada has maintained pervasive non-reciprocal trade practices that have disadvantaged American farmers, manufacturers, and workers. For example, all but 2 Canadian provinces and territories have halted the purchase, distribution, or retailing of U.S. alcoholic beverages and have not imposed similar restrictions on other countries. From March 2025 through February 26, Canadian imports of U.S. alcoholic beverages decreased by about 81% compared to the same period in 2024 and 2025.
Wow.
So that's why Trump's putting a little tariff action, give him a little tit for tat, you know?
No Jack Daniels, no Tennessee sipping whiskey up in Canada. Wow.
Yeah, they're missing out on the good stuff. Oh well.
No Southern Comfort. All right.
Yeah, this one here. So yeah, just in, pro-Trump super PAC MAGA Inc. just surged to a whopping $400 million cash on hand, raising close to $30 million in just 1 month. Wow. 47 and his political machine is prepared to win. Imagine a multiplier effect if the Save America Act is passed by the Senate before Congress goes on recess. It is possible to hold the trifecta. Interesting news.
400 million. That's some serious ducats. Serious
Definitely.
Ducats. Let's see. What's the next one? The last one is
Doherty posted about what Trump had put on True Social. He revealed he spoke with the new UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham about finally opening the North Sea for oil. He says, I had a very good conversation with the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Andy Burnham. We discussed many subjects, including the outstanding relationship we have had with the UK. We will be meeting in a not too distant future for topics of mutual interest. The Prime Minister has got a big job ahead of him, but he will be able to do it. And of course, the USA will be there to help. We discussed North Sea oil, trade, the military alliance, demining of the Hormuz Strait, and many other topics. The call was interesting and went very well. I wish Prime Minister Burnham good luck and Godspeed. But we'll see. You'll see what happens in the next 6 months to a year to see whether he's going to get on board. Because I've tried to find out more about him. I don't see a lot of stuff. So to see.
I thought
wait and see. Let him cook.
I thought, was it Norway or Sweden? One of them already said they're going to open up the North Sea. Did you hear anything about? Let me search and see that. I thought somebody said that they agreed to it. Hold on.
What about Chevron?
It was the same guy. I found it was this tweet. President Trump takes a huge victory lap as the UK's incoming prime minister plans to open the North Sea for oil and retreat from windmills. All right, windmills. So this guy's he's already indicated to President Trump that he's going to be opening the North Sea, which for oil. That's crazy. That's absolutely awesome for the people over there.
He just needs to tackle all the grapes and all the assaults and all the other crazy crap that's going on in the streets of UK. Because
I don't know how the people in London are putting up with it. I mean, at this point, with everything they're doing over there, they should be just rounded up and gotten the heck out. I mean,
Yeah.
reclaim your time, get your people back. All right.
That's all I have.
Thank
All
you.
right. Have a great evening.
Don't forget to turn off your mic.
Yes. It's going off now.
Especially if you're heading to the bathroom or something. I couldn't help it. Bye. Oh, Haley, thanks Barry for the hat. It was a pleasant surprise. Why were you surprised? Well, I guess because it took us so long to get it out. Well, that tells me people are getting their stuff, which is, I could thank my grandson. He spent like the half the day making sure everybody gets their stuff. Get it out. And he did a great job. Cheers up. Feds must hold him Mandami. Yeah. Otherwise, you're talking about the guy. Yeah, the little terror guy. Exactly. I thought you were talking about that Yahoo. Cheers up again. Mandami was busy comforting the terror. To me, when they came out for the press conference and I didn't see his smiling Jack face, I'm like, you gotta be kidding. How can you not be out there? It's so obvious at this point. Scruffy Mama, Matt Morse TV had the same take on the Fed building in regards to it possibly being a dry run. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, when you look at the picture and you understand that this guy, all the pieces together, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you just throw out some gas and, no, doesn't make any sense. Harbor Lights, Barry's retired law enforcement officer in NYC, facial recognition cameras, license plate readers are everywhere. That's how Luigi Mangione was caught. Yeah, I gotta believe that New York is one of the most surveilled cities in the world at this point since 9/11. Scruffy Mama, Brandon Langley has the same take as you too. Don't know who Brandon Langley is, but thank you. Chiosap, Trump photobombed the World Cup photo for Spain. That was so funny. They were like trying to get him off the stage. He's like, no, I got this. Did you notice how every single liberal person was so happy that Trump got booed at the World Cup? Well, I guess that's their last hurrah because now football season is starting. Linnell, the Dems created a monster that their party can't control. Only way they have a chance to get back to the middle is to let the monster devour the party and start over. They will blame Trump along the way, as they do for everything. You're correct. Thank you. Moshe, light note, July 21 is my 51st birthday. Oh, yeah, we're going to give a heads up for that one. 51st. Congratulations. Barry, I got my silver coin today. Now I can put it with its other silver coin, coin friends. There you go. Don't tell anybody you got it, though. Bielka, Mandami better be careful. He might disappear. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I don't know if I want to mess with these Mossad guys. Nope. Bielka, is Mandami the mayor and governor? It seems like the guy, excuse me, today not showing up for that press conference when every single chance he gets in front of a camera. Something's weird about that. Mama Tracy, Barry, why can't President Trump arrest Mandami? Don't we have laws against communists here? No, there's no law against you being a communist, but some of these people are touching the line as they're threatening the United States. When they're saying we're going to tear this down, we're going to do that. Mandami is suave enough not to go there, but I still don't understand what he was doing with Netanyahu. White Wolf, I stopped the sheriff's department from dumping a chopped car a few weeks ago at 2 a.m. case of mistaken identity. They were investigating a dumped chopped car. Lit me up, and I knew who they were. Cheers up twice. Saw an ICE raid in Queens. No protesters in sight. Nope. Welfare cut for green card holders. More self-deportations. Yeah. Absolutely. Cindy, Amnesty First on Ben Dyke Show explains why Thune is stalling. Please look up. You guys, let me just tell you one more time. This whole HR 9535 thing, I am not going to listen to a whole bunch of peripheral stuff, I'm going to try and talk directly to the source, the guy who sponsored the bill. Ashley will be trying to get in contact with Representative Glenn Thompson to see if we can get him on the show. I'm going to go direct to the source. I don't like all the, periphery and the peanut gallery stuff. I'm going directly to the source. And if he doesn't work, then we'll get somebody else on that list. But just understand, that's my position on that whole thing. I'm not looking to get involved in the periphery, the peanut gallery, and all that kind of stuff. I want to talk specifically to the people if they're willing to come on. So that's how I'm going to handle it. Chiosop, locals can go get the jobs the Haitians abandoned. Yep. That was interesting how they did that report, talked about the manufacturing jobs being abandoned, but they didn't go talk to the manufacturing company. Very interesting. Linnell, there are home auctions every weekend in Hernando, Florida. Homes going for $25,000 to $50,000. Nice starter homes. Yeah, it's all BS. I don't know why people didn't believe me. I've been in the business for 30-something years. When people say there's no affordable housing, I know for a fact it's a crock, an absolute crock. Robin gets tired of me talking about it. She's like, I go to her, I'm like, honey, what are these people talking about? She's like, let it go, let it go. I'm like, well, they're lying to people. They think they should have what you have, and they shouldn't have to do what we did to earn our way up. They want to go right to the top, and that's their problem. Chiosop, no food if they ate all the cats. Shh, YouTube doesn't like that. Oh, Linnell, I'm a male person. I get paid for leads and have bought land with the money I'm working on saving up enough to buy homes. Oh, hold on. I got to give you that. Getting paid for leads is huge. Getting paid to bring other people leads. I've always told people, if you want to make money, you need to show other people how they can make money. Just saying. Keysterd, why aren't they building data centers in Springfield? Probably because the local Congress, whatever, community leaders. Barry, I just went to Zillow. There are huge houses in Springfield for less than $60,000. Looks like I'm getting some property there. Bingo, there you go. Opportunity is all I've ever asked for. Just move out the way, people. If you're going to make all these people leave the city and you got boarded up properties are a gold mine, if you know what you're doing, obviously. Let me see, what do we got here? This is from Chiosop again. Thank you. Nassau County DOT used to have ICE agents at the weigh stations and dozens of trucks were shut down. Now Hochul doesn't allow New York police to work with ICE. It's been intentional the whole time. George Rivera. Barry, how can I contact you concerning a Florida real estate investment question? SB or one of the mods, Beth or Severo or Roaring Rage can get you the email, and it'll end up going to Ashley, and she's working with us on real estate stuff now too, so she'll get it to me after she screens it. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out today. A lot of stuff going on, and I think just with that one clip from Springfield, Ohio, I just want to impart upon you, just keep your eyes open. And also that whole thing with the truckers. I didn't know about a lot of that stuff myself. I knew it was bad with the accidents. I didn't know that they were doing it, trying to invade that territory as well. They're trying to invade everything. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. And I'll probably post a video tonight. Bye.